Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan. Welcome to our How We Felt About for Fantastic Four First Steps, the third and final major motion picture that we're reviewing this month for July, just the juggernaut month for the year. We've got a panel again. To my left is my son Jayson.
Hello.
And we've got Robert Wild.
Hello.
And we've got Connor Nielsen.
Okay, I got my mic unmuted. Hi, everybody.
Oh, good. Excellent. So we kicked Austin off tonight because we only needed 4. Mm-hmm. Because it's Fantastic Four.
Fantastic
Big Four! So we wanted to make sure that we only had 4. And boy, is that going to be in my head for the next year and a half. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And whoever flips red is the Human Torch, which means...
I assumed in that intro you were going to name each of us one of the characters, like obviously Cap, you're Reed, Jason's Franklin, Connor's the Thing, and I'm Herbie, because we legally couldn't afford the Human Torch. That's where I thought we were going with that.
Oh, who's Sue Storm?
Well, your wife, she's invisible.
Oh, right. She's right behind me.
She's right behind me, isn't she?
In fact, actually right behind me is my gigantic 3-foot Galactus statue, but because of my lighting, I don't think you could really see it. So that outline there is my giant, in fact, if we put a little space between us, look at him, he's sitting on his, giant, mechanical throne thing. It's wonderful. I might bring that over here after a while just so you guys can see the gigantic massiveness of it. Robert has been giving me crap trying to get me to get the popcorn bucket, and that damn thing is $80, which is only $30 or $40 less than I paid for this behemoth this year. Yes, I'm a gigantic Galactus fan. Yes, it's a big deal that we finally have a Galactus that's not a giant cloud in a movie that really is a big, scary, monstrous purple man that eats planets and walks around and smashes things. Yay, that's wonderful. But $80 for a popcorn bucket? What are you, nuts?
I was gonna say, if Austin was here, there'd be 5 of us, and he could be Crystal. So which one of us was Johnny? So I was just
there you go.
He can be Spider-Man Bagman.
Okay.
I like that. Cap, hopefully you're able to grab that Galactus Funko Pop coming out this year, because that looks pretty cool.
It looks great. Yeah, that is cool. And I don't think I have a Galactus Pop. Oh, well, I have a giant Galactus Pop, but I don't have any.
Oh yeah, you do. It's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. I do have that.
You didn't
I have 3 I could have grabbed that. That's back here somewhere. I have at least 3, if not 4, big Galactus figures of various types. That's how big of a Galactus fan I am. I don't own a Galactus shirt though. I wish I did.
Austin said he can be She-Hulk.
Oh, that's true.
Perfect.
That's true. She was a member of Fantastic Four for a
Galacticus Islands.
Good while.
And get some.
Okay, so Fantastic Four First Steps. We'll go ahead and get into the movie. As always, we're going to do our sign flips and non-spoiler stuff at the start. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, you can hang out with us for the first little while, and then we'll get into spoilers, and we'll let everybody know when we are definitely going to spoil stuff. If you would like to chat with us about anything particular about the movie, make sure that we hit an aspect that we might not otherwise talk about. Leave a super chat in a dollar amount that guarantees that we will talk about the thing you want us to talk about. Including The Thing, who is a character in this movie. And if you can't do that, don't want to do that, we appreciate you just being here. You can leave regular comments, and we'll try to answer a few of those as well. And also, quick plug for Patreon, we'll be reading some Patreon responses to this movie a little later in the show. We might sprinkle them through, we might just save them for the end, I'm not sure yet, but I want to give people some time to get those in, because I forgot about it until a few hours ago, so I put the prompt for it up a little late today, so you still have some time if you want to go in and do one. Patreon.com/Geekvolution. Just the $2 tier gives you access to that perk, and a lot of people have been taking advantage of that lately and seem to really enjoy that and appreciate that, and that also helps to direct the conversation, because we are just a bunch of lazy frauds that need you guys to do all of our work for us and pay us for it. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the review of Fantastic Four First Steps. Finally, Disney / Marvel has made a Fantastic Four movie after lots of false starts and people thinking that this is a team that just cannot work at all on the big screen and in live action. Did they finally manage it? We'll see how we all feel about it. Or maybe maybe one or both of these guys are just big fans of the Tim Story movies. I don't know. We'll find out. But tonight I want to ask Robert Wild to give us a brief synopsis of this film. All I have said is Galactus and the Thing are in it. Tell us just a little bit, as spoiler-free as possible, about what happens in Fantastic Four First Steps.
What does happen in the first 4 Fantastic Steps? Well, this is the remake of the hit 2000 film Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, and if you've seen that, you've basically seen this movie. There's some changes, there's some differences, but, you know, the Silver Surfer Cubs, it says this thing called the Galactus is coming, but not the team's thing, the other thing, the bigger thing. And they gotta figure out how to stop him, and we get the origin out of the way in the opening credits, which is nice, and we're thrown into this new world. If you've never seen a Marvel movie, or if you've never seen an MCU movie, this jump straight into a brand new world. You don't need any prep or homework going into this, and it's this kitschy 60s sci-fi thing we're doing, and yeah, we got to figure out how to stop a big man from eating the planet.
That was a wonderful synopsis. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, it is a remake of sorts of Rise of the Silver Surfer. Like, certainly some of the same things happen. I mean, they're like the basic, I don't know, basic cookie cutter of the plot is there. Except Galactus has also an extra motivation in this, just to put a wrinkle in it, I guess. But I would say, without giving away too much of my feelings about this right away, certainly a step up from the last time we did this with a movie based on a Marvel property, when you had X3 and you remade that into Dark Phoenix.
That's a good point.
If that had happened with this, it would have just been called Galactus, I guess. And, like, it wouldn't even have Fantastic Four in the title, although that's way better than just calling a thing Dark Phoenix and then making a big deal out of the fact that there's an X in the title. Yeah, that's better than that.
It should have been Dark Phoenixman.
Maybe it would have been...
That's what...
Or maybe it would have been called Galactus 4. Like, we just find a way to...
There you go.
Throw the 4...
You put the 4 in the A, as we learned from the last movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
The last movie 10 years ago.
Yeah, but how's that been 10 years? It's absolutely insane. Okay, which of our Fantastic Four would like to go first? Does anybody want to volunteer? Throw yourself on the pile?
I'll go first.
Okay, Jason. Cool.
Okay.
Jason's got a sign flip first. Best thing, worst thing, and a sign flip. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Here's my sign. Look, it's the classic sign. Just like this movie, it's kind of classic. And I think I'm just gonna jump right into design wise. Like, I really like this movie. Now, that's not to say that the movie looks good, but design wise, it looks good. I like all the sets, especially in the Baxter building. And is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
And
street cred. Jason has
read
zero Fantastic Four comics.
I'm not a Fantastic Four fan. I'm just gonna throw that right out of the way. I've seen the Tim Story movie, and that's it.
Both of them?
No, just the first
one.
one.
Okay. All
and
right.
like clips from Rise of the Silver Surfer,
Oh,
like
okay.
that one part where he like touches the thing, and then they switch powers. I've seen that.
Oh,
scene.
yeah. I almost
That's
forgot about
literally
that aspect of it, where they did the Super Skrull thing without a Skrull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a huge Fantastic Four movie, but I do think
You're not a big movie
I'm not no,
fan.
fan.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's a true
Sorry.
statement, but a weird thing to say.
It's late.
Yeah, you're good.
But I will say that this movie was I think good for me because of that. It's kind of a basic plot, and I will say that that's probably my worst thing is that it, like, pacing wise and also story wise, not a lot happens in this movie, and I will say that that might just be me after, like, right after seeing Superman, which is a that movie has a lot of things in it. This movie comparatively does not, and you know that could be a good thing where it's just like, okay, this is just back to basics. This is a fantastic movie. This is a Fantastic Four movie.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say if it's fantastic or
Say it again.
guys, I got it. But
At some point toward the beginning of the movie, somebody says that's fantastic, and Jayson looks at me and goes, "Say it again."
say it again. But basically, and I haven't even seen that movie either. But it is a Fantastic Four movie, which is nice. It's not a Fan Four Stick movie, and you know we have a clear thing that we're trying to do, and we get it done.
Yeah.
Spoilers. We get it done.
We get it done.
Oh my god.
But
So you're saying like motivations are clear?
yeah, but I will say,
obvious, explicit mission.
I kind of wish. Again, we're really thrown into it, and I had this problem with Superman too, where we're just thrown right into it. But I think I have it with this a lot more. And just pacing wise, like the first half of the movie, I feel like we could, you know, not make it boring, but and I don't think that it feels like there's deleted scenes, but I do think that I'm missing a little bit as far as just I wish we could just slow down a little bit in that first half and be like, okay, like why don't we get more Galactus and Silver Surfer stuff? Like, why don't we get more of a character arc with Galactus? He's just kind of the big scary monster. He doesn't really do anything besides stomp around and kick down buildings. Like, he's kind of just Godzilla in this movie.
I mean, to be fair, coming of Galactus is not that far away from that. Not that you've
that's
read
fair,
that, but like
I wish we could have had just.
he's a force of nature. That's the point.
But
of
it
him.
makes him less menacing, and I just wish we could have had just a little bit more of like him talking to Silver Surfer and stuff. Because I think he at least does that in the comics. But my best thing is the just the chemistry with all of this team. I think everybody does a good job, especially Sue Storm. And I don't remember that actress's name, but
Vanessa Kirby.
thank you. She's great, and I think everyone does a good job. I was won over by both Shala Ball, and we'll get into that more. I think, at least for this movie, I was won over by that. I wish she got a little more to do again, and then I was also I was won over by Pedro Pascal, and I just think everyone together, like it's a team movie, and I'm super glad that we're getting, you know, especially in contrast to Superman again, which, you know, it does have a lot of characters, but that is a solo. It's a guy. His name is Superman.
That feels to a lot of people like it has more characters than it should, just because it's called Superman.
Yeah.
Like, this is a team movie.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna begrudge it its four more characters.
This is a team movie, and I think they handle that aspect well. Overall, it's a solid movie. I'm gonna say I'm feeling it. I don't think it. I will say it's not as good as Superman, and I also don't think it's as good as Thunderbolts. But it's a solid movie, and I don't have that much wrong with it. Like, I don't think there's that much wrong with it. I just wish there was a little bit more that they could have done.
Do you mean
I think
like
there's a little
just
bit more that they could have done.
downtime, or
Yeah, downtime. I think we could have had a little more downtime, but other than that, I don't have a lot of problems with it. So I think it's solid, and I don't even think it's like just okay. I think it's solid.
That was a good review. Well done. Let's hear next from Connor Nielsen.
All right. Yeah. So I'll say that going into this, Fantastic Four is probably my favorite Marvel property, which is asterisk. I'm not trying to have some stolen valor here. I'm not like a major Fantastic Four fan. Like, I've not read a lot of Marvel comics in general, but I love the iconography. I have read the first 6 issues of the Stan Lee, Jack Kirby run. a couple of times. I always want to read more than that, but man, they pack a lot of story into those 22 pages. It takes a long time to read through those issues from the Silver Age. But yeah, I've always liked the concept though, right? Like it's a great concept for a team. It's sort of like Star Trek meets superheroes, like they're scientists and they're explorers and they're like world figures and they're like superheroes. Like it's a great, and they're a family. Like there's so much cool stuff that you can do with it. And for whatever reason, to me, it's like Superman, where my entire life there hasn't been a good Fantastic Four movie, the way there wasn't a good Superman movie until earlier this month. And I'm like, why do we all pretend like this is hard to do? Like it'd be like if we woke up one morning and we all decided, guys, peanut butter and jelly is a really hard sandwich to get right, you know, so let's add paprika to it. Let's put it on like, you know, this weird rye sourdough fusion toast and we should make it warm. It's like, no, we just put peanut butter and you put jelly on bread and you slap it together. Like it's so simple to me. Why can't we do this right? So I have not liked Marvel movies like for a while now. And I've been like, just my heart has been like tortured getting excited for this movie because it's like everything I'm seeing about this movie is like exactly what I want to see. And I'm like, but don't give me hope, guys. Come on. You're just gonna break my heart. So I finally saw the movie and it was a very interesting experience because I feel like my review when I walked out of the theater and my review now, like 24 hours later, would be kind of different. I don't think this is a very good movie. I think that particularly like the first half does not. There's I think, two different ways you can do a Fantastic Four movie. I think that you can do like one where it is a Reed story or a Sue story, or you center on one of them, and you know the other three become like supporting players, and you kind of build the story around one of the characters, or you give each of them their own individual character arcs. They didn't do that, and they did. That's fine. You can do it, but they kind of went with the other thing, which is the team is like the main character. It doesn't favor any one over the other, and it's kind of about them as a unit. The thing is, I don't feel like after the awesome like first 5 minutes, which just kind of established the world and the characters and just kind of throw you right into the action, I don't think this movie establishes this team dynamic, what makes this team the team, so that when you enter Galactus and when you enter the threat, I don't feel like the threat challenges the core dynamic because it was never really established. And so as a result, I don't think this movie really has much of a story. It has a plot, but these are evergreen Marvel issues now, right? It's favoring plot over story, and the movie has just a bunch of ugly VFX and blah blah blah, and like the second half gets very segmented. But also, I loved watching it, and it's the best Marvel movie I've seen in years, and I kind of loved it, and I don't care that I don't think it's very good. So, so I, I feel so weird about this movie. Like the second it ended, I was like in love with it, and but immediately I'm like, I feel like there wasn't a lot of substance to this movie. And yet, even though throughout the day I've kind of been like, yeah, this doesn't really add up and that doesn't really add up, but there is stuff that really works here. There's a lot of great pieces. I'm really happy that the first time I can think of a major blockbuster, I'm reading reviews where they are saying the words production design. You don't see people highlight production design in reviews like ever. So I'm really happy that that's getting a spotlight. But I also think the casting that Sarah Holly Finn is like the unspoken hero of the Marvel Universe, because the casting in this kind of does a lot of heavy lifting. They have great chemistry with one another. Vanessa Kirby is like one of, like, my brother had told me this before I saw it, and I agree with him. She is like one of the most inspired casting choices in one of these movies in a long time, which is not to throw any disrespect to anyone else, but she's amazing as a, I knew she would be really good in the role, but she really did, like, it was like to me, it was like watching Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man. Now, maybe that's like blowing it out of proportion. I saw it one time. Maybe I'll regret saying this in the future, but I was really kind of impressed with a lot of this. There's a action sequence that halfway through, it's the best action scene in a Marvel movie I can think of. Like I don't know. So I'll say that's my best thing is there's an action sequence is like nothing I've seen in a Marvel movie, and I think it rocks. And I'll say the worst thing is that it was made by Marvel Studios because I think the typical Marvel problems are kind of crippling what would otherwise be a standout blockbuster. So I liked it, I loved it, but I don't think it's good. So there you go.
That I've never heard a more honest statement than that. Connor, so are you flipping green because of the experience you had? Or are you flipping red because you don't think it's actually very good? Like, are you gonna let your heart or your brain flip your side?
Well, I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's very good.
Okay,
So I
okay.
am going to give it a green sign flip.
Okay.
I'm feeling it. I will watch this again in theaters. And when I buy the disc, this is going to be the disc of the Marvel universe that I play the most, specifically for the first half. I think it gets off to a great start, and the midpoint is awesome. So I'll probably shut it off after that. But I will. This disc is going to get the most play from the whole Marvel universe. So
Wow, fascinating. Let's hear from Robert.
Oh my god. So yeah, I'm coming in here with definitely like the least amount of baggage of you guys because I'm not a huge Fantastic Four
You've never
guy.
even seen a
I know
Fantastic Four film. You've never even
I've
watched...
seen 2 of them.
Okay, okay.
I've seen the Tim Story ones. But, you know, those are my childhood action figures behind me. I like the Fantastic Four. I've seen some of the cartoons. I've hardly read any of the comics, aside from, like, events and things that they pop up in. So I don't know them super well. I'm not coming in, like, as a big Fantastic Four fan, or as a big fan of any of the movies, at least the ones I've seen. I thought the Tim Story ones were okay when I was a kid, but they don't hold up great. So going into this, my expectations were, I hope it's pretty good and that it's the best Fantastic Four movie, at least according to reputation. Though I do see the Roger Corman one, which a lot of people in our circles like. I do still need to see that. And what I got was, I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. Satisfied. I went in getting exactly what I wanted. I hoped I'd like it more than the previous ones I've seen, and that it would be pretty good, and I was satisfied. I don't think it's amazing. I'm a little confused by certain reactions this has gotten, but I agree with Connor that the physical production design is great. Aesthetically, I really enjoy this movie. I really like the world they create here, and I get some of the concerns people have about this property moving forward and the Doomsday and Secret Wars of it all. It's also amusing that a lot of things people were complaining about or worried about weren't the case, and we'll get into that in spoilers. So that was a neat surprise. As far as best thing, worst thing goes, my best thing, it probably this is gonna be echoed a lot here. Is just the cast. I think pretty much I think almost everyone in this is well cast. At least as far as the main characters go, I think everybody's well cast. I think they work off well each other. I think they work off each other well. I like their chemistry. I like their personalities. I want to see more from these characters, which is always something you want in one of these franchise movies. Is I do want to see more of them, which is a good thing. My worst thing, it's kind of between 2 things. First worst thing is going to be CGI baby. Oh boy, CGI babies. Can't
Well, you
escape 'em.
stole
Can't escape
mine. I
'em.
better come up with something else.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe you'll disagree with this. My other worst thing is just Mole Man. Well, a character who I know nothing about and have no stake in. And we'll get more into that in spoilers.
Okay,
but
so he was
yeah,
my best
this
thing.
Mole Man's lame.
He was like my real best thing.
We'll get into it. We'll get into that.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, that's where I'm at. As far as how I'm flipping on this, I've got green for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and red for Deadpool and Wolverine. Why? Because members of the Fantastic Four appear in these movies,
Oh,
and
there
they're
you
MCU
go.
movies.
Okay.
So there you go. I do like both these movies, but I'm gonna flip green. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Very satisfied with it. I'd have to sit with it longer to say if I think this is a better movie than Thunderbolts or not. I just know that I liked Thunderbolts more, and I think personally was more my jam, but it's also they're trying to do very different things. Like Thunderbolts is trying to be a deeper, more emotional movie, and whether you think that works or is manipulative is totally up to you. And
They
fair.
are both very team based.
Well, that's
Yes.
all Marvel makes now. Unless
that is true.
unless you're a sequel to Incredible Hulk without the Incredible Hulk in it. That's the only time they'll make a movie that's not a team movie.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I guess it's like I liked it slightly more than Connor did, but also I didn't have the euphoric I'm in love so happy experience like Connor did either. So somewhere between those halves of Connor's brain is where I'm at with this movie. That's my review.
Well, thanks for that. I'm always excited to find out what boxes Robert pulls up. Really, the box thing is the main reason he keeps getting invited back. I'm sorry, what?
That's true. No, this one was hard because I don't own any Fantastic Four movies on Blu-ray, and I'm sure a lot of people shared the same thing. But hey, I had a good workaround.
So I actually owned Fantastic on Blu-ray, and I got it because the Steelbook was on sale for $4 at Best Buy. So I'm like, hey,
I love that it was $4 too. That's awesome.
and that's what I'm saying. I had to.
If it had been $5, he wouldn't have bought it.
Nope, not in one bit.
That's so good.
That better have like its own display cabinet. Like people need to see that when they enter your place. Like,
Yeah. No, I mean that's how I. Yeah. No, I won't say that. Never mind.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and do my sign flip. Well, I'm going to start by paraphrasing Jack Nicholson in Mars Attacks and say Marvel's had 2 out of 3 decent movies this year, and that ain't bad. This one is certainly flawed, and there is definitely pacing issues, as Jayson was saying. There's a lot of like best thing is like how do I want to put this? There's a lot of like your greatest strength is also your greatest weakness going on with this movie, where like I feel like I'm talking out of both sides of my face when I'm both praising and criticizing it. Like on the one hand, I really like that we jump right in, like both legs first, and it's just dropping you in the deep end. And on the other hand, it feels like it has no first act. It's really odd. And I have praised things for this before where it's like we wasted no time. We dropped you right in, and it really feels like something is missing. I am not with Jayson when he says that it doesn't feel like there are scenes missing. It absolutely feels like there are scenes missing to me. I can see your kind of typical Marvel leaving stuff on the cutting room floor and possibly reworking a third act and compromising it. I don't know how much we had in the way of reshoots with this, and if that really happened with this, we'll talk about it when we get into spoilers. But I have questions about that third act. I'm of two minds about a lot of stuff with this one, but I'm going to echo a lot of the positive stuff that's been said already. The Art Deco thing worked brilliantly. That was the big thing everybody was excited about, seeing this director bring to it from WandaVision. That absolutely paid off. Some of the most inventive-looking sets, and especially like period sets, I've seen in a superhero movie, and I loved the retrofuturism thing, like I was hoping I would. I love that we get the whole City of the Future vibe. It isn't just that it's the 60s and the Fantastic Four have their own future technology. We're in... And I've always wanted to see this in a Superman movie, and not to throw shade at Gunn for not doing it, but we got it here, which was neat. That you have... This version of New York City itself is retrofuturistic because of the technology that Reed Richards has brought to it, and we even have crazy stuff, like the minor spoilers. I love how over the top it gets with these things. We're in an alternate dimension. We can do whatever we want to. We say that Susan Storm has started their version of the Future Foundation. I thought it was kind of fun bringing that in as something of a different thing than it is in Hickman's comics, but they found a way to meld it with Fantastic Four, which is kind of fun. And she's basically just achieved world peace all on her own. That's wonderful. So I really enjoyed stuff like that. Again, just just mixed on stuff. I love finally getting the experience of getting Galactus on the big screen like this, and yeah, something's missing with him. When people were saying that he doesn't feel menacing enough, I'm having that. I can't even 100% put my finger on why. I almost feel like Jayson, it might have been just after what we've seen. Your complaint of we need more screen time with him and dealing with the Silver Surfer, he's not menacing enough. I feel like if we never went to him at all and he was always just a force of nature and completely in the background, but you still got to see what he looked like, he'd be more menacing than he is with what
I think you could go either way.
Like talk we get with him. And I also think that his secondary motivation might be part of the problem, although I'm not sure. We'll talk about this in spoilers, but he's not in this version just after the planet. There's something else that he's after, and that plays as a real typical MacGuffin plot. And it kind of works and it kind of doesn't. I mean, that's where I'm at with everything with this. By the way, I only had a chance to see it once. I wish, like Superman, I could have gone a second time before we're talking about it. The real best thing, worst thing I want to do is too spoilery, so I'll do it later. But the non-spoiler version of that I will give is the best thing is absolutely, and I'm not really the first person to say this, but I have to double down on it, Vanessa Kirby. And I will go farther than Connor, because he seemed trepidatious in saying that he was brought back to Robert Downey as like perfect casting choice for Iron Man. She's in the top 5 at least best casting choices as a superhero of all time. I bought her as a scientist. That's the first thing. She feels like an adult. She's like, I don't know how to put it except she's just a very mature woman.
She feels like a wife.
Well, that's the thing, is like, depending on your age, this is either the perfect mom or the perfect wife. Like, you either want to marry this woman or you wish she was your mom. And I loved her. And I loved the whole like maternal motif with this. What am I trying to say? That theme through all this really resonated. And I will also say that I was very nearly, at least like Jayson said, for this story, won over on the Shalabal thing, because two things: how it's like how the maternal thing is handled, and also how she factors in with Johnny Storm, because that gave him more to do, and like she actually had to be female in order to do what they're doing with that. So like they almost won me over on it. I still have my reservations about it, but I can't get into that until we get into spoilers. But I thought that actress was actually quite good, and that she had a lot of presence, and she brought everything to it that the Silver Surfer should have. She just happened to be female. So I'm surprised I'm saying positive things about that. I still don't think she looks great, at least in the face up close. Worst thing is gonna be, again, echoing what Connor said about typical Marvel problems. And it's really frustrating that this is being held back so much by that, because in a lot of ways it doesn't feel at all like not just a typical MCU movie, an MCU movie at all. This feels like a setup movie for a completely standalone Fantastic Four movie that has nothing to do with the MCU, and with like the standard way Marvel tells stories. And I really appreciated that, except it feels 92% done to me. Like, visually, script-wise, everything. It just needed 6 more months in the oven. And that's an issue I've had with a lot of Marvel movies. But this one, it was even more frustrating because, like somebody said, the design is like the what am I trying to say? The art design is wonderful, but visual effects artists just needed more time on it, and I feel like the editor needed more time on it. I could not help but feel like there's a better cut of this movie to be made.
Kat, can I ask you something?
Yeah, absolutely.
How funny or ironic is it that many a recent superhero film we get is around 2 hours 10 minutes, 2 hours 15, and we always say, oh, it's too long, you could shave off 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
And then they do that with this movie, and everyone across the board is saying, why'd they cut out that 15 minutes? Put it back in.
I didn't even look to see what the runtime was.
It's under 2 hours.
It's not. Yeah, it's not about the runtime. It's about how it feels. And
Yep.
I'm telling you, it needed 20 more minutes. I'm not even gonna say 10 or 15. I needed 20. Because again, it doesn't really feel like it has a first act, and I'm totally cool with the Medias Res. I love how fast we get to Galactus. That's exciting. That's not the problem with it. I think Connor is spot on when he says that we're not establishing the team dynamic well enough. You also can establish that dynamic while you're dealing with a threat.
Yes.
I don't want to put words in Connor's mouth, but I don't feel like, and I like, we'll see if he agrees with me. I don't feel like that means you have to open the movie with half an hour of dinner table talk with the Fantastic Four. You have your threat, they go try to fight them, and then again, minor spoilers, we go out into space. You could have had more downtime with that. There are definitely places we could have slowed down a bit within the exact story structure we have here.
Can I ask a question? Oh, sorry. You go ahead, Connor.
Well, I was just gonna say like what you're talking about, Cap. Like at the dinner table scene, for example, just in the way they talk, you could have had like one conversation that you can maybe like zero in on like a central theme surrounding all these characters, and maybe there's like disagreements under the surface that maybe they don't even really notice, but we as the audience do, and then that kind of comes to the surface when Galactus comes, or like what you're saying. But in that scene, it's they learn, or like they kind of come out with Sue being pregnant, and then it's on to the next scene.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, Cap, like you could have like the classic action scene where it's a team doing their thing, and they do the thing, but one of the leaders goes, "Hey, Johnny, you didn't do this," and then Johnny's like, "Yeah, but I got it done, didn't I? Speaking of the thing you criticized me for, here's the way you do that thing." Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that might be what I'm saying is very hacky, right? But like there's a way of kind of like just through action, or even just in the way people talk to each other, not just what they're saying, but the way they talk to each other, that you could really like hone in on like, what is the theme of this story? Because I feel like as is, it's a solid situational plot, right? The way they have a situation and the way they deal with it, but it doesn't feel super character driven to me, because like all the characters have something to do, and like, but I don't feel like it's all tied together like in a really like artistic tapestry, and I feel like really good Fantastic Four stories do that.
And that's why you needed 6 more months, because you do another draft of the script and you draw that out. In my opinion, and I will just say, I'm certainly feeling it, and I probably sound a little more down on it than I am, because I had not the same experience exactly that Connor did, but I was certainly enjoying it a lot while I was watching it. But there were some things that I was frustrated about, even as I was watching it. And I think the clear, because you're right, it does feel more plot driven than character driven, but there are sparks of character where I understand what all these people are about and where they're coming from, but it feels so clipped. It really feels like I don't want to say like supplemental to something else, but it really feels like we're getting part of a thing that just got trimmed down too much. And I don't know how true that is, but it feels like, for me, the main thematic ideas are very, very clear, and we didn't really explore them. They're just not brought out to the fore enough. The two big ones are the like I said, the like maternal and parental idea of like how far would you go for your child. That's the first big one, and then the second one related to that is when is it the right time to go lesser of two evils? Your kind of standard ends justify the means thing, but through a very specific lens with Mr. Fantastic, who, and this is a very wonderfully traditional Mr. Fantastic, who says, I look at everything through the math first, and if the math works out, I have to try to align my ethics with it because it's a clear math problem, but I have to remind myself that I'm a human being. And of course, that's what gets the ultimate version in trouble because he gives up on the human side and he lets the math side take over. And I like that this version clearly has that in him, where that's his dark side. He could do that if he wanted to. And spoiler alert, he does not do that. But I loved that dynamic with him and Sue, and that could have been the whole movie, and maybe it should have been the whole movie. And I feel like it gets buried a little bit in just the go 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 of it. And so
it's funny.
There's just a balancing act that it's not managing with that, because I also really kind of liked the go 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 of it. It is possible to do both. They just didn't. Like, it's funny. I'm talking about math. That's an equation they didn't crack. That's a math problem they did not figure out.
I think the first half, because I think it's like separated to two halves. Weirdly,
Yes.
I think like
It doesn't have a first act.
The first half of this movie goes very quickly, and then the second half brings it down. And I just wish we could spend more time with that first half, because so much stuff happens, and then you have the Galactus fight.
And you're saying that second half is more indicative of what the whole thing should have been.
Well,
And hey, guess what? 20 more minutes would have given you that act.
We've already said this, but once they go to space, it's like we kind of slow down a bit. And
It's interesting. Oh, sorry.
yeah, but no, I'm done.
And a lot of that 20 minutes probably should have been, and I guess, sorry, I'll say this real fast. I guess I'm saying Sue and Reed are like the clear MVPs here. If it's not just about the whole family dynamic, like Connor is saying, it's really their story before it's anybody else's. And then Johnny Storm gets a lot of like facilitating things to do, certainly that are very good. But I almost want those 20 minutes to be either Ben Grimm's or divided up between them, because Ben is very much the kind of short end of the stick.
And he is the one character that I think there's deleted scenes for.
That's what I'm saying.
No, there has to be. They cast Natasha Lyonne as like his potential love interest, and she's like barely in the movie.
I have no idea what happened. Yeah,
it's like you wouldn't have casted her if she didn't have a bigger role and like that. I don't know. I'm making assumptions, of course, but
on
I didn't have the thought of.
Yeah, on the editing and pacing, it's funny that all you guys are like, oh, it's so fast, like go, 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 go. And I found this, maybe it's just coming right after Superman. I think this is a considerably slower paced film than that is, and very focused and simple. But I don't disagree that I need a lot
problems, although this was a much bigger problem for this movie.
But I was getting to that in that I have the same thing I did with Superman, where I wish it was 10 or 15 minutes longer, particularly in the first half. And I've heard some people say they think it drags in the middle. It's like, no, the slower stuff in the movie is the stuff I really like. It doesn't have that Marvel problem where it's just action scene after action scene. This is a very talky movie, and I liked that a lot about it.
And people were complaining that there wasn't enough action. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I think, well, we'll get into this more later with something that was cut. I definitely think there's at least one action scene that was cut or trimmed down. But with the opening, I really want to stay on the opening. I like the opening scene of Reed and Sue and her finding out she's pregnant. I think it's a very well-acted scene. It's very intimate. I get it. It's the calm before the storm. Does everyone else here agree with me that there is no way that was a first scene of this movie? Like, that is a change made later, right? Because a lot of the first third in the movie, I was just like, it's weird that we arranged this way and where we placed certain things and things I wish we got to spend more time with. Like you guys said, we could have opened with a much bigger action scene to establish their powers and their dynamic, and then you can have the scene of her slowing down and finding out she's pregnant, and then the movie can carry on from there.
Marvel really likes their cold opens now.
Yep.
and they probably didn't initially have one, and then they went, oh, that might be an impactful cold open. And I get the instinct with that because it does establish the MacGuffin and the main family theme with it, where that baby is going to be the linchpin for everything. It's
Yep.
going to change the family's lives forever, and it also has the potential to change the world in it getting destroyed if things don't work out right.
Now, Robert, I will say, comparing this to Superman, I do think this movie is the plot is more focused and simple, but I do think the way that they get there, the way that they go through the plot, is still too fast paced, and that's really just what
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying.
fair. Yeah.
No, and so to me, the second half kind of begins when they get back from space.
Yes.
So that's kind of where, but I agree with Jason, where like to me, this is very much a tale of two halves. But no, I do agree that like it is too fast paced, particularly in the first half. But I think like what gets sacrificed tries to get made up for in the second half, and I think by then the damage has kind of been done a little too much. Like there are good scenes where like characters will say like, "Hey, this is like a thing about my character," and it's like this is a good scene, but it'll be addressed in this one scene, and then we're kind of done with it, and then we kind of go on to the next scene, and that's kind of it. And so, I mean, look, here's how I would describe this movie. I think it's a very good sampler plate of the Fantastic Four and like everything you can do with it. Here's Ben Grimm. Here's one scene where he's kind of like a lonely guy and doesn't think he's good enough because he's a rock monster. Okay, here's like Johnny Storm has like his thing where his interest in like being a hothead. He's not really a womanizer, but like he definitely does like getting after the lady, lady Silver Surfer. So like we have that plot thread, and so that's there, and then like it doesn't actually super factor too much into like what's going on. It's more like just a flavor for his character to have, and then like you got this and you got that, and like I like that it's all represented, and like I enjoyed like it feels authentically represented, but I think like it's not mixed super well. It's a sampler plate, so
Yeah, that's
which I like. I like the sampler.
That's perfect. And sampler was the word I was looking for earlier. Yeah, that's exactly right. And I should have brought this up at the start of my flip, I guess. I think, and tell me if you guys agree with this, that part of the reason you end up with that, Connor, besides just like trying to tighten things and keep it under 2 hours and make it a simpler adventure movie for families, which is honestly nice that we got one of those. I mean, I do really like that. I think it's maybe informed too much by the fact that there have been Fantastic Four movies before. I think they're trying to avoid too many comparisons and things that we've kind of treaded in the past. And that's odd since they're going to Silver Surfer and Galactus again, but I honestly keep thinking that's maybe the sole reason. Maybe it's because they felt like there weren't enough women in the cast. I don't know. But I keep thinking that's maybe, especially after I've seen it now, maybe the sole reason they went with Shia LaBeouf as Silver Surfer is just so that it feels different from the other movie that had that character's name in the title. We can't do too much with Ben Grimm and his plight in not being able to live an ordinary life anymore because that's the main stuff we tackled in the other movies. Like all three of them dealt with that. The first one and the Josh Trank one especially. And so we go, well, we have to avoid that entirely. And that's par for the course with Marvel because they didn't even let us know until the third movie with Spider-Man if there was ever an Uncle Ben. So that's not especially surprising, but I feel like they're overcompensating pretty hard. So they do the kind of standard, the way you typically get around not having to deal with origin again by just sort of showing it to us in opening credits or just after opening credits. And this doesn't really have those, I guess, but it does it pretty quick at the start. And that's fine. That works. But and we're 4 years into there being a team, so we sort of act like we're in the middle of a TV show and you're starting in season 5 or something, where they have a rogues gallery and they've dealt with all. And I love that this is a world that is like established, and there's a lot of history already, and that's really nice. But it does. I'm just saying, it does feel like they're overcompensating for the fact that people have seen these characters before, and I think you could err on the side of repeating yourselves a little bit because this property has never been that popular. I think you have to be more careful about that with a Spider-Man or a Superman. And with the Fantastic Four, I think you approach it like we've never made one. And in some ways, it does sort of feel like it's doing that.
Well, unlike Superman, at least you do get a recap or a quick here's their origin. It reminded me more of the Incredible Hulk more than anything. How that just speed runs through the origin and the opening credits.
Right,
so
what
I
I'm
like
saying
that.
is it's avoiding dynamics to some degree,
Yeah.
or just paying them lip service.
Yes.
Kind of to what Connor was talking about, where it's like we're authentic in that you can see that they're there, but we just don't spend any time with it. Jayson, I just had this thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's a science movie about solving a science problem, and your characters are fully realized in the minds of the people creating them, but they're not. But like their motivations and interests in things aren't driving the story as much as just there's this problem we have to solve, right? And we keep going, we keep like having a fix, and then something terrible happens, and the fix doesn't work, and we have to pivot and come up with another way to deal with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a TNG episode.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think about that.
It's a Star Trek episode.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense, but it's also the problem with it.
Mm-hmm. Question: Are we into spoilers now?
Let's go ahead and get into spoilers now. Absolutely.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, folks. But yeah, it's a TNG episode.
And there's a team, and it's one of those TNG episodes where the main female character has a baby.
That's true. That does happen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked how much
It is Data's Day again, or not Data's Day. What is it?
No.
I'll think of it.
Troy?
Yeah. No, not Troy. Anyway, I'll think of it. Go ahead. Nobody cares about this.
I liked how Star Trek-y it was and how much of the movie was just problem solving. And everything, to some degree, does pay off.
No, I did really like that too.
But there's nothing, because there's a lot of...
Power play?
Power play. When Worf delivers Keiko's baby.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was that episode.
Isn't it?
It is.
Is that Power play, or am I thinking of something else? No. Well, anyway, go ahead. I think that's right.
No, it's
I'm,
not.
I'm rusty.
It's not.
No,
It's not.
no. What am I thinking of?
I don't know. But...
Is it Disaster?
Yeah.
It's Disaster.
Disaster.
Okay, go ahead.
That sounds right.
Yep.
I like I said, I like how much the movie's problem solving, but also while things don't always work out and there are, problems throughout, there was nothing that felt like a waste of time either. Like, it all more or less pays. And I agree that there's probably some reshoots going on with the ending. I'm not saying that there are no third act issues, but it still came together well enough for me. Like, okay, like this was set up, like this evolved, this progressed. There was nothing in the middle that I felt like was a waste of time, which is a pretty basic compliment, but it's something. No,
and I'm with you, but that doesn't mean there's enough there. Like, that doesn't mean that we're not exploring some things a little further.
I agree. Like, I thought there was a decent amount of substance thematically going on,
and I might feel better about that on a second watch.
For sure. I think Sue, we all agree, comes out as the best in the movie. With Johnny, it's like, I like the plot stuff he gets to do in the middle. I just think he's really shortchanged in the beginning and the ending. It's like, oh, on paper you had a really good arc and thing for him to do, and it's like we kept the thing for him to do, but kind of skipped past all the actual character development. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
so I'm agreeing with you that it feels like
spoilers,
pieces are missing.
Yeah, I wish he had more of an honest to God connection. with the surfer, or maybe had one more scene with her somehow at the end. I felt like that got kind of shortchanged.
Yeah.
He also does a thing with Galactus that just didn't make any sense to me, or like I don't understand why he thought it would work. The part where he tries to like give himself to Galactus, like why would he need you? Like I don't understand. Like it's not even take me as your herald, or maybe that's what he thought it was, but it was like take me instead of the baby. It's like you can't do what he thinks the baby can do. So I don't. Again, I've only seen it once, but
Understood why he wanted the baby. I think he just wanted someone.
To be fair, I don't fully understand why he wants the baby either, which we can talk about. Because he says that Franklin Richards is supposed to be this like power cosmic kind of entity. He's gonna have the power cosmic, and it almost watches like Galactus can see the future or something. I guess he can scan the baby and can tell just how powerful it will be when it grows up. I mean, he's got much better scanning technology than Reed Richards, who couldn't read anything at all. And also, I didn't really understand the baby is hiding from you business. I don't know how it does that, but it's like, it's hiding its true nature. And I'm like, it's a baby. I guess genetically somehow it's a like scanner chameleon. I don't understand that, but whatever. Galactus is like, and this is a weird conversation. I never thought I'd be talking about this on camera. The further we get into the future, the weirder these conversations go, folks. Galactus is like, this baby is going to be the supremely powerful being that is my successor. And at first I was like, oh, it's going to be like, it's going to have to eat planets? Like, okay. And he's like, Franklin Richards will make it possible, will like satiate my hunger because it's got the power cosmic.
So he's
and
gonna eat
will
it?
make it so that I'll never have to eat planets again. And I'm like, I need you to elaborate a little bit.
So is he gonna be your successor, or are you gonna eat him?
It's like the issue that I have with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, except like it's much more vague even, because I never fully understood the thing with that where Ego needs Peter because he's a battery, but he's the source of Peter's power. So like I never got that. This I'm much more confused about even, where it's like, what are you gonna do with? I mean, I've seen it once. Maybe it makes more sense on a second watch. But I'm like, what exactly are you gonna do with the baby, and how does it satiate your hunger, and like does it have to die, or but like how does that make it your success? I'm not really understanding.
Austin says Galactus read a fan wiki.
That's true. Yeah, can we circle back to Johnny for a second, and then this will tie into the baby?
Sure.
Because to give people more specifics of what I feel like is missing, we are told in the opening Johnny likes women, Johnny is a womanizer. We're told that, we're never shown that. We never see him interact with any women in this movie other than his sister and the Silver Surfer. So some more scenes showing that early on would have been nice, but also I like the idea, because what you were saying earlier about how the Thing, all the previous movies had a heavy emphasis on his plight and issues and coming to terms with it. It almost felt like we were actually giving that to Johnny in this, which I kind of like, the idea of him feeling like the outsider and not forming a strong connection with anyone and not belonging. You just need to bring that more to, which is why he has that connection with the Surfer. Which is an idea I really like. I just wanted to explore more.
Yeah.
And then back to the baby, and again, you could call this a nitpick, that's fine, but it stood out to me on the one time I watched this movie. You get to the end, and he's about to make the big ultimate sacrifice, and he says, "Tell my nephew I love him," and I'm like, we haven't seen you have one interaction with that kid in this movie. Like, where are the cute scenes of Ben and Johnny interacting with the kid?
Yeah, there's just not enough family downtime stuff, and that's the thing is, Connor is so spot on when he says sampler plate, because they'll hit a beat, and then they don't think it ever needs to be hit again. Mm-hmm. And there's a difference between being redundant and being consistent.
One last thing on Johnny. Sorry, Connor. It's also the Silver Surfer sacrifice at the end of this. I wish hit harder than it does.
Yeah.
And I wish we spent more time with Johnny after that.
You know
Like,
why
we
it
gave him
doesn't
one
hit hard?
reference.
You know why it doesn't hit hard? Because
'Cause-
Silver Surfer isn't there in the third act at all.
Yep.
She's not there.
It's like,
I think if she was
And I don't
like,
know where she went.
I don't know where she is. I don't know why she just randomly shows
So
up
she
and
gets-
then punches him in the chest.
What they think they're doing is, well, we can't cut back to her. We need the audience to forget about her. So when she shows up and saves the day, we go, oh. But if you're like us and have seen a bunch of these movies, all we're thinking is, where is she? When is her moment gonna happen?
Well,
And then we don't.
She flies off because she's upset about what Johnny shows her and reminding her about all the planets that she's helped Galactus destroy. And I like that scene. Real quick, I'll just throw out my criticism about this because it's kind of funny. It just seems amazing that Johnny Storm could learn any language that fast, much less one that there's not like a book for. Like, okay,
I don't know how.
you got
he
one
did that.
sentence. Johnny Storm was never a super genius. Now he is. That's fine. Okay. And he's
I'm fine with
like,
it.
and he's like, look, Reed, I could do a thing. And I'm like, the thing you did is more impressive than anything Reed Richards has done this entire movie. Now, maybe that's because he invented faster than light travel off screen and all of that. But like,
He built a teleportation machine.
okay, that's pretty impressive. But I already knew he could do stuff like that. This is more impressive because Johnny Storm's like, I learned one sentence and now I speak your entire language. But more impressive than that is that somehow he Chromecasts to analog tube televisions.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how he did that.
I don't know how he did that.
They're not online. Like, what is he sending the signals? I don't know how
It
he's
is
doing that.
retrofuturism. Anything could be
That's
possible.
true. That's fair.
There could have
that's
been
what
a
I was
Chromecast,
thinking. Like, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
which is
That's-
Yeah,
somebody's Chromecast.
I saw some people in the live chat saying, "Why is Johnny smart in this?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're told that at the start. I thought that change is
He's
fine.
smart.
I like him being smart. I
Well, he's always been
And-
smart, but that is bordering on super. He is for go back to Star Trek. He's Hoshi Sato in this, and I don't. That's weird, but all right.
But I like the idea of where we start with him too, of him feeling the most
You're
disconnected,
right.
but also wanting to go back into space, because we talk about that a lot, of Johnny being like, when are we going to space? I want new spacesuits. Like he doesn't belong here. We still go back out there, and then the Silver Surfer shows up and checks like all of these boxes for him, and it's like, man, I really like this angle. I just wish we spent more time on it.
The place where
And
he
then-
really got me with him was like, oh no, he's wonderful and this casting is great, is when he feels really self-conscious about his two favorite things coming together, and just the line delivery, and they are space and women.
Exactly.
And I thought that was wonderful. I was really kind of concerned that they would downplay his skirt chasing too much. And you're right, we don't see enough of it, but that doesn't feel like they're afraid of it so much as just, again, we'll just hit a beat and move on and don't spend any time with things. So the fact that he's like, it's well known that I'm kind of obsessed with women. I'm like, okay,
But
cool.
that was a great line.
I'm so happy they let him say that, and that's in the movie. There's a lot of stuff like that.
And his line delivery is great on it.
I'm so glad that we don't have to drag Reed Richards down in order to make Sue Storm look independent or strong or something. Like their dynamic in the story movies is so awful, where it's this like CW relationship nonsense of she's gotta like constantly be harassing him and harping on him because he's like too interested in his science and doesn't pay enough attention to, and just nobody feels like a grown up. And in this, Reed Richards is the honest to God leader of the team, like he should be.
Yeah.
And she is the leader of the film. And I love that.
I didn't say the world.
That too. But like I didn't feel like anybody was shafted to make anybody else look look important, and
No, yeah.
that's happened in
And
stuff
honestly,
recent, like,
I don't know if
pretty
I
recently.
can. I don't know if I can go back to the Tim Story movies after this.
Well, you shouldn't anyway.
You should.
And you definitely shouldn't watch Rise of the Silver Surfer because on top of just being a generally embarrassing movie, it also has the worst character of all time in that random general is like the worst, like the worst guy ever.
Yes,
Courtney B. Vance, like why is he in that role?
no, it's terrible.
Oh
No,
my
and
God.
this had
But-
no army men in the woods, so I was happier just based on that.
So yeah, I really like. See, this is the thing. Like the casting's great, and like their chemistry is great. Like I love the bickering bros that like Johnny and Ben are. Like the way in which they will like just kind of like get on each other's nerves, but then the way they'll like give each other high fives and like kind of team up on Reed and Sue, and like, but then when like the baby's around, they want to just like, you know, be cool uncles. Like this is great. Like I love it, and I just want to geek out for a minute because I loved the whole sequence in space. I think like that is when it comes to these Marvel movies, yeah, it's a lot of sensation. And this movie also, like especially the first half, is just like for me, it's like dopamine button, just like pressing my dopamine button. And I'm like trying to like overcome, like I need my brain to work so I can like think critically about this, but like it's hitting all of my pleasure sensors.
Yeah.
But then like but here's the thing though, like you're right, Robert, that like there isn't as many action scenes in this as there are in other Marvel movies, and that's good. See, like what makes it like because
especially because they don't usually look very good anyway.
Also,
sorry.
Perfect example. A movie I like, Multiverse of Madness, that throws you in an action scene, and it's like it's weird. It feels like something's missing. At least the opening scene of this isn't an action scene, but I also want it to be. It's weird.
The thing is, it's like I like action scenes. Like action cinema is like one of my favorite things. Like, but like Marvel movies ain't Police Story. Like Police Story turns every scene into an action scene, and it's the most exciting, hilarious movie ever. It's awesome. But like, it's like I'm trying to think of Thunderbolts, right? I didn't hate Thunderbolts. I thought it was all right. I'm trying to think like what was the action scene in that? I remember the concept for the action scene, but when I try to think about what happened in terms of like what the sense of escalation for the scene is, I can't think of it. I remember there was like a part where like Bob was punching a dark Bob, and I'm like, okay, that's what I got. And so, but with this though, the centerpiece action scene is great because you have like all four of them have something to do.
Yeah.
There's a great like ticking clock with Sue is giving birth.
Yeah.
There is like a great like threat of like Silver Surfer is like on our tail and we're going faster than light, and then there's a great curveball that they throw in where like Johnny's trying to fire the lasers, but like because they're going faster than light, like it's curving the laser, and then like the sense of escalation keeps getting great because they knock her off the board and she's able to like magnetically get back on. Awesome. And then they get to a black hole, and then there's like, and like the way it keeps escalating, and then like they have to like give birth, and like when she finally gives birth, it's like it's such a great release for the scene. The action has now hit a pause. The characters now have a moment to like not just go got out of that one and then just like go to the next scene. It's like now they have like a thing of consequence that is like the reason for why they actually needed to survive the scene. Was the immediate consequence was we need this baby. And then like it kind of gets you all primed for the next thing, which is the coming of Galactus. So like it's just a great scene. It looks awesome. It's exciting. Like I was all about it. And it's not a fight scene. It's a chase scene. And like it's cool.
Also, I need to correct Connor on something he said a minute ago. But also, yeah, that is a great scene. It reminded me of like some of the early Star Trek movies, like some of that's like that could have been the Starship Enterprise, you know, like that's like a good Star Trek action scene. I like that a lot.
Well, especially because it's in a warp field. And yes, you can't fire in a warp field. Like, that's not going to work. But I love the more, like, science fantasy nature of this, as opposed to, like, hard science fiction, where, like, it's an FTL drive. So right away, they're doing a thing that you can't actually do. And they're not any more technical than the beam is curving. It's wonderful.
But I have to correct something Connor said a minute ago. He just threw Courtney B. Vance under the bus for no reason. I'm like, Connor, that's not Courtney B. Vance. That's
Oh, who was
Andre
it?
Brower,
Oh,
who
my
just
bad.
who just passed away a year or two ago, R.I.P. But you
Oh,
said Courtney B.
that's
Vance, I
right.
was like, he's not in that movie.
Oh, okay. It's
Sorry.
been literal years since I watched that movie, so
Good. That's fine.
I, yeah.
You're good.
Apologies to Courtney B. Vance. You're awesome. You're a great actor.
He wasn't the
Yeah.
Lilo and Stitch remake.
We all make mistakes, okay? Like Michael Chiklis was in
Of
Silver
course.
Surfer,
So,
Rise of the Silver Surfer.
so, I have a question. What's the better black hole, this or Superman?
Yeah, it's weird some of the things these movies are both doing.
Yeah.
Right? And both bringing. I mean, the answer I guess is Superman, but they're both pretty good.
Yeah,
I
Superman
don't
gets out of it too easy, but
know. Maybe it is this. I don't know. That's tough.
I prefer the one in this. If we're just going on that sequence.
also that
yeah, I like the
that
sequence more.
sequence lasts too long. I think. I don't know.
What in Superman?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh yeah, in Superman, I think it goes on forever. I'm ready to get out of there. No, sequence is good.
But they're both bringing that like real high concept science fantasy stuff that we've always wanted more from comic book movies. That a lot of especially a decade or two ago, the superhero movies were really scared to try to deliver to a mainstream audience because they'd think it was too weird and they wouldn't understand what was happening, and we get real trepidatious about that stuff. And like more and more as time's gone on, we've loosened up about that, and there's been a lot of precedent. We've allowed more of that kind of thing. But it's fun to get two in 1 month that are like that, not timid about it.
Yeah. I didn't think the Fantastic Four would go to space. And not only did we do it, it's the best part of the movie. So like for sure, when I pop in the 4K disc of this, I'm just gonna watch the beginning, and then I'll probably, I'm into it for the next, 20 minutes. And then when they go to space, I am locked in for that sequence. And then I'll probably shut it off after that. But like if
I'm
nothing else, we got that. And I'm so happy.
I'm
happy.
glad-
Like,
I'm glad
Here's
we
why.
got a close-up shot of one of their boots going into the dirt and leaving a little 4 imprint. That's great. And again, the title, First Steps, just mwah.
I
Perfect.
yeah, Dad, I want to know what you think of the title after watching the movie, because I know you did not like that title when it was first announced.
Well, I didn't know what it was gonna do thematically. I didn't realize it was gonna be all double entendre about it. So yeah, I mean it is correct for the movie they made. I thought it was gonna be more about like going to space for the first time and that sort of thing. Although I also knew it was an origin movie, so I guess I don't know what I was thinking, because I was thinking like they were playing on like One Small Step or something, and
Yeah.
like in the scene that Robert's talking about, they're playing on that a little bit, but it's really about the baby's first steps, and
Yeah.
then like maybe on a more grand scale, the first steps of like human beings as a species, like touching the unknown, but through Galactus coming to us, right? But so there's a couple of different thematic things that title is doing, and yeah, it seemed correct. But also, and this is a major point I wanted to make that I couldn't do while we were in non-spoiler. It's also first steps for like this is a franchise, and the thing I was most shocked by is related to what Connor was just talking about with the space scene, because I thought that was going somewhere it didn't go. The thing I was most shocked by was that this stands alone completely and doesn't touch the MCU beyond just giving us the name of this Earth. And so the only way that it's even remotely related to MCU is if you've seen those movies and you've seen the Multiverse Saga, you know that this is a world in a different universe apart from the one you're used to seeing. And that's it. And I think most of us went into this expecting that we'd do the first Avenger thing where we'd catch up to our typical status quo, or the status quo we're in right now by the end of the movie. When like I didn't think we'd get to the end of this and there would be any chance at all they could make a sequel in the same universe. That's my real best thing. Is that it's a franchise starter. It's weird to say I'm happy they made a setup movie. I don't really mean that. I do feel like the story and these characters could be a little more fleshed out. By the way, somebody in the comments earlier was like, well, I don't feel like these characters aren't like real enough, don't come alive enough. I'm not saying that. I said I feel like I understand all of them, but I'm just frustrated that we don't spend more time exploring those aspects of them. Like the movie does make it clear who they are, and makes it very authentic for more or less to who these characters are supposed to be in the comics, which is really nice. And also, honest to God comic reverence, which MCU just doesn't do. Like the fact that it actually does a tribute at the end to Kirby blew my mind. Because these don't.
Oh, that made me emotional.
They don't. These things don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't know. Even if you hated this movie, I feel like you got to give it some credit for doing that.
Well, we always had it for Stan Lee. Because
Yeah, but only Stan Lee.
Because he said those movies.
And
only
I don't
Stan
know
Lee.
if you know this, but begrudgingly initially. Like the guys at the
Mhm.
top didn't even want that, and they didn't want him to have cameos, and they wanted all the glory to go to them, and for it to feel to the audience like there wasn't even source material, and they came up with all of it. And that only changed because Stan Lee got so popular through the cameos that they pivoted and owned that, and then kind of pretended like Stan Lee was theirs. And I never liked that either. But anyway, I don't know. They've rectified a little bit of that with this, which
I mean,
was surprising to me.
Yeah, totally. No, that tribute got me. Like I knew about the Earth 828 thing, his birthday. Like I knew that going in. I didn't know they were gonna like spell it out in the movie. I thought that was just gonna be a thing for us in the know. And also when Stan Lee passed away, we had a lot of heavy tribute stuff to him in movies and games and such. I feel like we got that out of our system. Still R.I.P. But the Kirby tribute at the end of this really got me. I wasn't expecting that either, and it was really nice.
Not just the tribute, but the fact that one of the first credits in the closing credits actually credits the creators of the property. Marvel doesn't do that.
Yeah.
They stopped doing that years ago. It's always just based on the Marvel comics.
Yeah, they don't do it.
This one, yeah.
They did it with this, and they did it in big letters, and it felt like they made the deal out of it that DC usually does. Like,
having said all that, it does suck that Jack Kirby passed away decades ago. It would be nice if Marvel could start showing the same reverence to current living creators.
I know.
So that's like I'm with you like halfway, where it's like, oh, that was really nice, that was great. Can we start giving the same respect to people who are still, alive? Like, who was it? Peter David. Peter David passed away this year, who had struggled paying for medical bills.
I know.
He had to raise a GoFundMe, and like that really sucks, Disney. Hopefully that doesn't happen again.
I think the special thanks credit should be higher. Should be like further up in the credits, because it's not just the creators, but it's like lots of runs that they'll borrow things from. And like with this one, I wasn't able to see everything, but like Hickman was in there, of course, and there were several. What was really weird though is then there's a I'm sorry, what?
John Byrne, of course, was in there.
There's a separate thanks column at the very end that's like a long individual row of people that I assume like actually consulted on the movie. It wasn't just like we went and borrowed stuff. And Fraction's name is in that list. And I wonder what he did on this.
Interesting.
Because that means that he was at least on a phone call with somebody. So that's interesting.
You know what's weird about this cup? I like this cup. I got it at Cinemark. I like it. Because we were on the title thing earlier. This just says The Fantastic Four. It doesn't have first steps on it. I don't know what's up with that.
So I forgot
I
this
just-
even had a subtitle until the very end of the movie. I was
Me
like, oh
too.
yeah, that's right. First, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah,
That is
cool.
interesting. So Connor, after the big space scene, and also real quick, I'm just gonna say, you were talking about like the escalating action. I think this movie's really good at that all the way through. Like you're right about that scene, and then like just constantly throwing in hurdles and escalating the conflict where like we thought we figured this out, and then oh crap, something else happened, we got to pivot. I really liked that, and I thought it was really cool when they're gonna try to teleport the planet. What a fun idea! What a cool plot point. We're gonna move the whole freaking planet so that Galactus can't find it, and the Earth will be okay with us not sacrificing our child to the evil god Galactus, like a child sacrifice, like in an Indiana Jones movie or something. And then they have to establish these bridges everywhere, which also makes it feel like Star Trek because they're transport enhancers. Did you have that thought?
I did.
So many TNG episodes where in order to transport something that's difficult to transport because there's like a ion storm or something, you got to put in these pattern enhancers. You got to stick them in the ground, and they make like a triangle, and then you get something inside of that triangle, and then it teleports better. And I'm like, oh, they did transport enhancers, but everywhere. And then Silver Surfer comes down and just blows them all up. I'm like, that's all. I'm like, oh crap, what are we gonna do now? We can't teleport the whole planet. That was so freaking cool. I love that. Well, anyway, so you get to the end of that space scene, and they go, we don't have enough fuel to get home. What are we gonna do? Well, we can slingshot around the sun. Mm-hmm. Now, if you've ever watched any science fiction film or TV show with a ship that is going to slingshot around the sun, you ever watched any space opera where we do this? Usually that wreaks havoc. There's usually a big problem that happens when you slingshot around the sun. Because in Star Trek, again, that's how we accidentally invent time travel. Is if you get at a certain speed and you slingshot around the sun, you can go back in time. This is established in a TOS episode. I think it might be the end of Naked Time. I can't remember. And then, of course, we do it in Star Trek 4. So as soon, Connor, as they go, we're going to slingshot around the sun, I went, oh, no.
I had the exact same thought.
I know where this is going. They're going to time warp, and somehow it's also going to transport them to another universe, and that's how they get to the MCU. And they didn't do it. And then, and when they, were you suspicious like me when they get back to Earth and it's still the 60s again? I went, yeah, but something's going to be wrong. It's going to be the wrong 60s. Yep. They're going to be in a slightly different universe. I was waiting for 5 minutes for the other shoe to drop, and it never did. And I finally settled in again.
Maybe that's, maybe that did happen. I don't know.
No, because if it did, they would have been like Earth 898 or whatever.
Right.
But anyway, so then, because I don't know if you know this, but Earth 838 is only 10 numbers off from the other Earth that we've seen so far with a Reed Richards in it, because I looked this up. The one in Multiverse of Madness is 828. So they are...
This is 828, right?
I thought this was 828.
Then swipe that and reverse it. One of them is 828, one of them is 838, and they're only 10 off from each other. So that's interesting.
That is interesting.
But anyway, so then you get to the third act, and they go, we're gonna try to send Galactus to the furthest reaches of space, and then he's not gonna be able to get back to us. And they open a hole in space, and they're going to try to shove him in. And I was like, that's how they get to the MCU. They've ripped a hole in space-time, they're going to shove Galactus in, and then one of two things is going to happen. Either Johnny's going to get stuck in there with them, and they're going to have to figure out where in the multiverse they are and go find them, because we know that Reed knows about the multiverse, and he could probably traverse it, right? Because I think there's something about that like he understands the multiverse. And then the other thing I thought it could be is simply, we thought we were sending him to the far reaches of space. It turns out we actually sent him to another Earth in the multiverse, and that's not fair to those people. He's just going to eat that other Earth, so it's up to us to go stop it. So then they go to the MCU in order to stop Galactus. And neither of those things happen. And the universe is left completely intact, and they can tell more stories there. So, just because the Fantastic Four is going to be in the next Avengers movies doesn't actually preclude them from doing more period piece stories, which freaking shocked me. The only thing that might preclude it is the fact that they are soft rebooting with Secret Wars, because the assumption that and I'm sure a lot of people are making, is that that will kind of crisis things where the whole multiverse will be destroyed and be brought into one singular universe. But if they do that, then they can't tell more stories in this world. So either they're going to screw themselves up and the Fantastic Four sequels still have to be in the MCU, or whatever the new version of the MCU is, or that's not actually how they're going to soft reboot exactly, and they're going to at least keep this universe intact, which honestly I think is what they'll do.
Yeah, and the post-credit scene is 4 years later, so it's like we have 4 years for you to set sequels in. So, like, great.
That's true, awesome. Too. That's true, too.
I'd also...
Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead, Ron.
No. I'd like to see what the 70s version of this universe looks like. I think that could be cool. Yeah, and the big assumption a lot of people were making is, this movie's probably going to end with this Earth getting destroyed and then the Fantastic Four going to... And I've always been like, that's a really dark ending for this movie. I don't know why we're assuming they're going to go there. And no, the world is left intact, and they're still there, and we'll see how Secret Wars...
That after credit scene is kind of messed up, but...
I think we all assumed that because we know that they're supposed to be a big part of Doomsday, and because Doctor Doom is the big threat. So we just all figured it's because we're all cynical and we don't trust them, and we shouldn't. But if they do cool things, then we can praise them for it, right? So, like, two things can be true at the same time. They're so about the continuity and whatever the big thing is right now that you go, well, they're doing this as just a setup movie to introduce this team, but the sacred timeline is the important timeline, so they're gonna bring them over as fast as possible. It actually now looks like they're gonna basically do the Guardians thing, maybe, where they bring them over for an adventure, and that's not crazy because these people are already aware of a multiverse. They can go see other ones and not be changed that much.
And it's the kind of the same thing because Thanos comes from the Guardians movies, and then Doctor Doom is like a Fantastic Four thing.
Brilliant! I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So I just realized something. Is this universe in the European version of this film? Is it 288? I don't
get it.
Cause of how they do date time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good, Jason.
I don't really. I'm actually.
That's funny.
And also, since we're on the Earth thing, God, I hate that the main MCU Earth is called 616. Stop doing it. That we called it that in Far From Home, and Mysterio was a liar. Why did we later no? That should be the comics, and this should be Earth. Whatever.
It's so stupid.
It's so stupid. But the other thing since we're on this topic, saw people complaining about for months was the idea that the Fantastic Four are going to be from the main MCU. They disappeared in the 60s, wound up on this Earth, and then they got to get back home in the later movie.
I never thought it was that.
This is the world they're from, and we're living in it the whole time. So, good job, movie.
Yeah.
I had during that like space sequence, I was getting kind of emotional. I wasn't like crying, but I was like doing it, like yeah. But then it was like you see the black hole, and my first instinct was like, oh, so cool. But then the second thought I had was, I had a terrible thought. I had a horrible thought. Whatever the thing from the Grinch is, and I was like, oh no,
Good idea.
black hole. Universes, mumbo jumbo.
Yep.
We're gonna end up at the MCU, and I'm like sitting there thinking like, I didn't watch
As your first act plot point.
and I'm just like, oh no, and I'm like thinking, I'm like, I didn't see all the promotions. I'm like, are there any shots from the thing that I haven't done yet? I'm like, please don't screw this up, and they didn't, and so I had that. Yeah, that made me happy though.
Well, and even oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was done.
Well, and some people think, well, I don't care about this movie because what's going to come later sucks. Maybe I'm just not that cynical, but I'm happy with the movie we got. Like, if Secret Wars or whatever screws everything up, I still got a Fantastic Four movie I like.
Well,
I'm still
especially
satisfied
because
with this, but I hope what comes later.
It's not soured by then just being a setup for that movie that might not be very good. So, like, even if that movie sucks now, this still lives in a vacuum. And even if this movie were to perform horribly and it didn't make sense for them to make sequels, and that would kind of suck because it does, at least character-wise, feel like a setup movie to me. Like, I feel like people are looking at this wrong. I feel like this is kind of an X-Men. Like, it's just, like get in here and get the, characters established and then tell a meteor story next time, maybe. Like, it really feels like that to me. And it makes sense to do Coming of Galactus as that, because that's such a simple story in the first place.
Yeah, and I thought we got enough here. I just wish the movie itself was longer.
Yeah.
As we keep saying. But also with the whole, and I'm quoting Feige here. He said that, Secret Wars is going to reset everything and there will be recastings, there will be changes. He said X-Men, all going to be recast. That's going to be a complete reboot. So hope that's good. I like that they got the Thunderbolts director to do it. But also, a question I wanted to ask you, Kep. And also, real quick, sorry to throw this out there now, but I do got to get going in like 30 minutes.
Sure.
I should have warned you about that up top. So
that's right.
sorry that I can't stay for the whole 5 hours. But
it'll only be 4. It's Fantastic Four. No, it won't be that long.
Fantastic.
Well, let me go ahead and hit the super chats we have so far.
Can I just finish my point on the world thing? But it was just that my question to you is, so you think that, well, there's a chance that we just keep this Earth around, especially if Doomsday turns out to be a disaster. I think that's absolutely how they course correct. Is let's just go back to the Fantastic Four world and let's stay there.
Yeah.
But if we are doing a more of a crisis thing, like you suggested, like Feige is implying with resetting everything, if the idea is this world and the MCU world are combined after Secret Wars, like if this is a true crisis, like merger into one, and it's still a hyper stylized world with a lot of personality and not just the boring stock MCU we've been stuck with, are you going to be fine with that? Because I think I'll be, if it's still stylized. That's my question to you, Cav, is are you fine with that if that's what they do?
There's a lot of ifs here, right? I mean, the only way it could be that stylized is if they allow movies that are ostensibly in the same continuity to all look different, like what Gunn is doing, and I don't know if I buy that they'll do quite that. Here's what I think is a lot more. So I'm going to cop out and say I don't know. Like, I'll be fine with that if they handle it right. I don't know if I buy that they'll do that. Well, you know what, I say that. Actually, I won't be fine with that. I want them to stay period. I really do. Because even if it's stylized, it can't be period. Like, they can't reset the whole MCU and mix all these universes together and it be period. They're not going to do that. It could be kind of out of time. And not really be in the particular date we're in, but it's not going to be period. Here's what I kind of think is more likely now that I'm thinking about it. Doctor Doom is the catalyst. He's the villain for that, and he's going to recreate the universes in his own image, is my guess. It would sort of make sense maybe if the only, and there's precedent for this in comics, DC more than Marvel, but it would. In fact, we're doing it right now. Now that I'm thinking about it, it would maybe make sense if he decided there was going to be one exception to we're gonna fold the multiverse. There's going to be one Earth, but I get to keep mine. I get to keep the one I'm from, and that continues so we can get sequels to this, and maybe becomes their ultimate universe, where we get spin-offs and a whole other Marvel universe that is period, where you get to see the 60s version of Spider-Man and the 60s version of everybody else. And that's what I hope they do, because I think that could be wonderful.
I agree.
Do you think? Okay. Do you think that they do that 60s version as the Marvel television side of things?
Oh, interesting. They could. But that would mean they've got to have their ducks in a row and think that these actors will all agree to do episodic television. I don't know.
Oh no, certainly, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
but that's interesting.
Pedro Pascal is a veteran of prestige television, like
that's
HBO
right.
and all that stuff.
That's right.
You know, Joseph Quinn was like a Stranger Things alumni.
Yep.
Ebon Moss-Backrack is from The Bear and
The Punisher.
Yeah, and then like Vanessa Kirby, I know her as a film actress. I'm sure she's done television. I don't really watch a lot of TV though. But, so, like all of these actors, I think are credible big screen actors, but they got a history doing television.
That's a great point. I said months ago on the Captain Logan show, there's a giant pipe dream to me that they'll never do to get a rebooted Marvel out of this. Like, I was kind of wishing this was the first thing they did after Secret Wars, and that we just for a while let the whole thing be period and just do a 60s Marvel universe. And I was like, that's probably not going to appeal to enough people, and that would be a really weird risk, and I would love it, but they'll never do that.
What if
there's a chance they do that?
What if that's the X-Men movie?
Or at least there's a chance that they do that also. What's that now?
What if that's the X-Men movie?
Yeah.
What if the X-Men movie
it's in the 60s and it's on this Earth.
Right.
Yeah.
But what if that is what they do?
I would be all for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I rember texting
now we
with
already
you about
did that. We did go back and do the 60s and 70s, but the unprecedented thing would be to stay there for a while. We haven't done that. But I'm sorry, Connor. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just saying, like, I wholeheartedly agree. Like, that would be exciting to me if they kind of stylized it that
retrofuturism X-Men.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Look, retrofuturism is like the cheat code to my heart, so I am down for all of it. You got atomic age gizmos, I'm there.
And I think it would be fun to, like, it would be set in a specific year, of course, but since you've got the retrofuturism thing and it's a very alternate, counter Earth, where they've got technologies we don't even have now, you could mix and match and do all kinds of characters that weren't in 60s X-Men comics, and you can do like that version of Weapon X, and I don't think there's any good reason that you have to be in the 80s and 90s to do 80s and 90s stuff if your world is weird and stylized enough. Guys, there's actually a chance they're gonna do this. Am I crazy?
I hope so. It's genuinely surreal being excited about like that as a prospect.
They could do that.
With after Captain America: Brave New World, I'm like, I don't know how much of this I can take. But no, and I will say, final ending gag of this movie, I liked it, and I think I liked it just because like I like these actors in these roles. Like, it's a pretty typical like, we gotta handle the baby situation. Whoa! But to do it after like a play on the Beatles, like gag,
Oh, that's
like
true.
What's the Hard Day's Night?
Hard Day's
where
Night.
They're running away.
That's
yeah,
right.
They're doing like a Hard Day's Night riff, and then it goes into we gotta figure out how to put the thing in. I was like, you know what? You got me. Like, if you're winning me over on a gag like that, you did something right. And so send me out of the theater smiling. So. Or I guess send me into the credits smiling because I left the theater after the credits.
And like I said, I still think you could evolve it. Like, even if the first X-Men movie keeps like the kitschy 60s vibe, like, I don't need all the sequels to be that. I still think there could be a progression.
Yeah, no, that's true too.
With the visuals and the aesthetic. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
So-
no, you're right.
I can't believe though that I'm living in the world where there's a Superman movie and a Fantastic Four movie that I liked, and I'm going to see them
Yeah.
both in the theater like next weekend with my little brother. Like this is like unreal. So
And they're
I think
both doing
Superman-
well.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
I like Superman more,
I
but
thought
like I think
I thought Fantastic Four was going to get real buried. Like, I thought people just didn't trust Marvel to the point where, like, this movie had to have come out in Phase 3, or like there was no chance it was going to perform, and like it's actually doing okay. Now I don't know what kind of drop off it's going to have. I am worried it'll make too much of its money in the first weekend, but there's not anything huge to kill it right away. So that's
no, we're
good.
going into August, baby. That's
Yeah.
a drop
Yeah.
zone.
No, that's good, and the word of mouth is good. Like, people do seem to be enjoying it, and it seems even like, you know, some fans are complaining about some stuff like FF diehards and stuff, and we're probably even a little harder on it. At least me and the part of Connor's brain that doesn't think this is a very good movie, than some other people have been. But it does not sound polarizing, like as polarizing as Superman was to some people. I say that because
Yeah,
I mean
but I think-
that movie is performing, but I'm hearing a lot of this is brilliant, this sucks, this sucks, and with this I'm not seeing as much of that. It's more it's great, or people are just like it's fine, but like I'm not hearing a lot of vitriol with this. Of course, the stakes in it are different. Like Superman's
Superman was-
a different situation.
It was polarizing before it came out.
Before it came out.
Yeah. I'm glad it's performing. I want people to like Fantastic Four. Like it was awesome to get the last laugh finally when I go to like a get together with friends who are my age, and like I talked to this one friend of mine and she says, "We watched Superman." I didn't know Superman was cool, and I'm like, I've been telling you that for years, and finally you see it.
Well, you just had to not be safe, and you had to let it be what it is.
Yeah.
And that was kind of true with this too. Now, again, I don't think this is as good of a movie as Superman, but
No, I would say I like the sensation of watching them. I enjoyed them, I would say, about the same. But then, like, as I was sitting with Superman, I liked it more.
yeah,
And then as I was sitting with this, I liked it less. Or at least, like, I thought it was less of substance. But, like, I do want to watch it again. Like, I enjoyed the sensation of watching it.
okay.
But
Robert's
I do
got to
think,
go
like,
soon.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Connor. Yeah, I didn't realize you had
No,
more
no, no.
thought.
That was effectively it.
Sorry.
That was effectively it.
Let me hit these super chats real fast, and then I want to talk as much about a third act question I have while Robert's here as possible, because I want to get his thoughts on this. Matthew Base, $5 super chat. Wow, I don't know if I agree with most of your criticisms. I thought this was great. Liked it better than Superman, honestly.
How do you like it? I liked Superman more. I don't know. It's a weird thing where they both have different problems. I certainly think this has a lot more mediocre CGI than Superman does.
Yeah.
We haven't
That
talked
had
about
more-
that much, but
That had more polish to it, and part of that's because Superman was given the lead time it needed.
Yep.
This started. I can't remember what it was. There was something kind of ridiculous like that. Like Superman started filming.
No, okay,
and
well,
then this.
no, I think Superman was wrapping production while this started production, and we're both coming out
both
the
came out at the
same
same time.
month
That's what it was.
following here. And the exact same thing's happening with Spider-Man, because they're getting ready to start shooting that, and that comes out a year from.
Isn't that
So-
ridiculous?
It's coming a year. Yep.
And Supergirl's
Um,
already finished, right?
Yeah, they've wrapped on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like we said earlier, while I think Superman and Fantastic Four have different issues, I also have the same big issue, which is I just wish it was 10 or 15 minutes longer. Except the difference is with Superman, I don't feel like I'm missing much, more just I want the movie to be longer, but I don't know how much was actually cut out that was shot. This, we know stuff was cut, and in places you can feel it. And also we're bringing our own baggage, because we know, like, factually the 15 or 20 minutes that were cut out of this movie.
We need to take this snapshot in time because it is rare when DC and Marvel are good at the same time.
Mhm.
And we at least got
Yep.
a month where that was true, except for that part of Connor's brain that thinks this is not a very good movie. J-Man, 499 Super Chat. I think I like Superman a bit more. By the way, isn't it kind of nice that they're as comparable as they are, though? Like, I don't even feel like it's unfair to compare them. They are, in some ways, similar films.
Both of them have a weird baby and a squiggle man.
That's true.
Both of them have like a city evacuation sequence.
There's a Squiggle Man?
Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, he is a Squiggle Man. Weird baby and a Squiggle Man.
Yeah.
Killer.
And it's Mr. Fantastic's baby.
I knew there was a
Yep.
reason I kept inviting you to these. Let me finish reading the super chat. I think I like Superman a bit more. This is J-Man, but Fantastic Four was still a great time. Probably will be my favorite MCU flick after more rewatches.
Wow.
I'll be surprised if I have that with it, just because, yeah, just the pacing issues we talked about. And there are some, in my mind, wonky things in the script that I need another watch with before I can, be too articulate about that. It's not like I was taking notes. There were a couple of lines here and there that I wasn't buying for the period that I just felt like were too contemporary, and Pedro Pascal was frustrated because he spent a lot of time with a dialect coach to get a real period voice with this, and then the director said, just sound like yourself, and he was like, I did all this work. He's like, no, you don't get to do that, and I think that's kind of unfair, but anyway.
I will say though, I wasn't sure about I'm like, come on, Pedro, shave the stash, come on. And then when I watched the movie, I'm like, no, the stash fits the '60s aesthetic actually really well.
Yeah.
So
They kept the gray streaks in the hair. That's all I cared about. I thought it looked great.
That was good.
Yeah, I felt like he had a little bit of, just in the look, like not really anything they were doing with his character, but he had almost like a Desi Arnaz thing going on.
I thought that too.
Well, they have similar eyes. He kind of has those they can smolder, but they also have like a sadness to them.
Like he
So
could
I
have
think
almost gotten away with like a Cuban accent, and I would have been fine with it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that.
that might have been okay. Real quick, how at the end of the day, how do you guys feel about that casting? Because once again, I'm just gonna be a politician tonight. I'm of two minds about it. I'm just gonna be flip flop man. On the one hand, I just don't think he's right for it, and on the other hand, that is a professional actor who knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like, I bought him all the way through. That's still not who I want. I wish it wasn't him, but he did the job, and he had good chemistry with his Sue Storm. So I can't argue with it, but I also don't like that. And this is just a me thing, because some of you guys are more familiar with some of this cast, but it was a bunch of actors I didn't know, and Pedro Pascal, and I wish that I wasn't recognizing anybody, because it was kind of fun to just have all these actors be these characters I know. But that's just a me thing.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
Pedro
thought-
Pascal too well to have that, so
He's just in everything
like
right now.
the big thing I know him from, he's got a helmet on
Right.
the whole time.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Oh,
Yeah,
Well,
Go on.
before you go, Robert, I just want to say he's in a lot of stuff, but he's
Yeah.
not in all that stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Apparently he was only in 2 episodes of the last season of The Last of Us. I don't watch that show, but he was in Materialists, but he was very much the third build actor in that movie. So he's only in these stuff for a handful of scenes. So it's kind of cool to actually see him in something as the lead where he's in it a significant amount. So
Mhm.
I don't know.
John says
Yeah.
if he's good in the movie, I'd say it's good casting. Yeah. No, I mean, I can't argue with that logic, certainly.
I thought he was good and had good chemistry with Vanessa Kirby, which was all I cared about. Because everyone, at least in our circles, was like, "Oh, she's perfect casting, but he's miscast." It's like, well, wait until you see the movie. Like, she can be perfect, but if she doesn't have, but if you get someone else who you think is perfect for Reed and they don't have chemistry together, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
That's why I don't get too into fan casting and stuff. Where I'm like, well, you're not going to know how these actors are going to bounce off each other until you watch it. So for
Also,
the movie, I
needed
thought
to
he was
be
good.
he needed to be of a certain age.
Also,
I'm glad he was older.
I'm just glad they're
we
older,
have
yeah.
a good Johnny and Ben dynamic, I think.
Yes. It's go. It's
Because
great.
I'm pretty sure that was missing, very much missing from Four Stick, right?
Well,
Yeah.
That's just non-existent.
Sure. So
Well, there's
Robert,
a lot missing from
how
Dan
soon do you have to
Forstick,
go?
including a second half. But
Maybe like 20 minutes.
Okay.
But the last thing I'll say on the Pedro thing too, it's
Yeah.
a lot of these examples. Yeah, I get that he's in a lot of stuff right now, but like Connor said, like Last of Us, that's over. Fantastic Four is his next big thing. But also when people say stuff like Wonder Woman 84, it's like, okay, that was one movie people didn't like very much. Like that's not continuing. It's not like he's doing these simultaneously. Or if you go back to something like Game of Thrones, it's like that was one season and that was over 10 years ago. Like he's a popular actor right now. He's in a lot of stuff. I don't think he's overexposed. I mean, like, I don't know. I get where you're coming from, but just see the character, and that's nice when that can happen, like we got with David Cornsweet as Superman. But there are exceptions to that. Robert Downey Jr. was a very well-known actor, and he's great as Tony Stark. Like, you can win me over on this. So, yeah, I thought he was fun.
where I come down on it was like I wasn't sure when they announced him because I was like, well, what? There's like two different kinds, like Marvel casting that they typically go with. There's the playing to the persona of the actor, and then there's the one where you kind of let the actor disappear into the role.
Yeah.
In the case of like Robert Downey Jr. and like Benedict Cumberbatch, their public personas and like the roles they typically go for do kind of align with those characters and the way those characters were characterized in their movies.
That's right.
Yes.
Whereas I think someone like Tom Holland, his public persona is kind of defined by playing Spider-Man, and so you could say like he kind of disappeared into that role. Or like Tatiana Maslany doesn't really have like a public persona, so when you cast her as She-Hulk, it's not like, she's really guiding that. With Pedro Pascal, it's weird because he's kind of a star, and I guess there's a kind of role he typically does kind of take, and he has a public persona that's very much not Reed Richards, but it's like, so which path are they going to go? If they go with we're just going to let Pedro Pascal's like public persona kind of guide the characterization. I don't want that. But I like him a lot in the stuff where he does just get to play characters. If they go that path, then I'm cool with it. And I'm glad that they went with that second option where
you're
he
right,
is
that
like
is
showing
what
up.
they did.
So I like that.
I just felt like I had to keep
go on.
kind of looking past him. Like I'm not seeing Reed in him, but then the performance he's giving is the right performance. So it's this weird.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
Can I respond to something Austin said in the comments?
No, I almost read that. Yeah.
But Robert, Reed's entire existence isn't just chemistry with Sue. I never said that. I said it's an important factor.
Well, you said that's all you care about.
What
That's
I
what
said
he's
is
responding to. You said that's all you cared about.
Oh, well, then I misspoke, because that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
That's not how I meant that to come out. No, I want all the characters individually well cast.
Chemistry with Sue, and that's all I care about.
Okay, I don't remember saying that or wording it that
Let's
way.
roll the tape back. Roll the tape back!
No, but what
said
I'm
it.
saying is I want all of the characters well cast individually, and I need them all to have chemistry together, because if they don't, then the thing's not going to work.
That's all I cares about.
And I thought they all did. So there you go.
Kirby, roll the tape back.
I want to roll it back, Kirby.
And he's very good in the
Herbie
movie.
was fun.
Again,
That
a
was
lot
good.
of people. Yeah, Herbie was fun. But yeah, I'm defending Pedro Pascal because I think he's good in the movie, and you should give the movie a shot because he's good at it.
I want to go to my question about the ending, because I thought there was potentially a big plot hole with Galactus. And the more I've thought about it, I can kind of see what they think they're doing, but I think things need to be more explicit about where people are and what exactly is happening. So now I'll be less vague and cryptic. So like we were talking about earlier, Johnny has his whole dress down with the Silver Surfer, and she freaks out and gets upset and flies off. And then we don't see her
a good
until
scene.
she gets to come back as kind of the pseudo Deus Ex Machina to knock Galactus into the portal, right? So I'm thinking, depending on where she is, Galactus should just have her go down and get the baby. Like, why would he do that himself? Why wouldn't he be like, I have this Herald, she does my dirty work for me, she goes down and gets it, instead of going down to do that by himself? But the problem is, I don't know where she is. So...
But they explain this.
Oh, they do?
Yes, like when she's coming
saw
to
it, well, I don't
destroy when they're coming to destroy all of the portals,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, she's coming here next to like get Franklin.
Right.
And so that's when Johnny jumps out to kind of go fend her off.
Right, but why
Because-
doesn't he just send her back?
Yeah, that's the thing, is she flies off, we don't know where she is.
Yeah,
That's true, but I
that's
guess
the thing
she
is,
didn't
she's
go
not-
back to Galactus. She didn't go
She's
back
definitely
to
not going back to Galactus.
I kind of wish she would though.
I need I
But, like,
feel like I need
reluctantly.
a scene with them, or I at least need, like, Galactus is trying to call out to her, she's ignoring him, or she responds to him and says, no, I'm done doing your dirty work. But it feels like, I don't want to say emotionally manipulative, but it feels like they're intentionally not giving us that scene, so we'll be surprised when she double crosses him. Where, like, that would be a beat that they don't want that early. So they have to just hope we'll forget about her. And it feels like a missing thread. It is weird to not have a scene.
Well, okay, and I'm glad Adam Arch brought this up. Before she goes down to destroy all the machines and go after Franklin, before that, she has the scene with Galactus where she says it's just a baby. Like, she doesn't want to do this, and then he physically attacks her. And threatens her. So she's already, like, not crazy about this. So I totally read it as, oh, she's just off. She's not going back to
there was
Galactus.
some scene that said something about, like, where she went, at least.
I agree. I want cutaways to her. Because when you get the big final self-sacrifice, I don't think it's drawn out nearly
Just give
enough.
us a cool shot of her well out into space looking down at Earth. Like, a 5-second shot would have done it. Maybe.
I agree.
Although I also think you should have a shot where Galactus is like, Harold, I need you to do a thing. Hey, she's not responding.
Where are you?
I'll do it myself. Like, I do think you kind of need that scene.
When he picked up that chunk of Earth, were you expecting him to eat it? Because I thought he was going to eat it.
Oh, I
and
wish
then
he
get it.
had. I did have that thought. I wish he had.
Yeah, I when the second Johnny was like, all right, tell baby Franklin I love him, and I'm like, okay, here comes the Silver Surfer.
Yep.
Here she comes. And
Yeah,
so,
so
like,
did I.
But you're right though, like just showing her like not with Galactus, like roaming the stars by herself, like you know, like you could say, well, that kind of gives the ghost away that you're forgetting about her. It's like, or you could just play that cutaway scene, like
she's
coming
leaving
back, she's exiting the movie. Yeah, you could play it that way.
But we need to see something, because there should either be a confrontation with them, or we know why there's not. I don't mean to belabor it, but that was weird.
I also had Robert's thing where I had the impression she was leaving, like not going back to Galactus, but it does feel like emotionally it's incomplete, and so it's like I was expecting another scene before she comes back, and it's not there, and so but that's kind of going back to the central kind of problem of there is kind of a lot of stuff just kind of missing.
Well,
Yeah.
and then we
Well,
can't...
it means that. It means she had a change of heart off screen, and that's weird. Like, I realize she's not really a protagonist, but it is a little bit weird to give us that like big emotional beat with her, and then she leaves, and she has an opportunity for change that she takes, and we don't see that happen. She just comes back.
Off-screen opportunity of change. We love to see it.
Well, and that's like, I guess that goes back into just like my big problem with the back half is a lot of it feels segmented. Like they come back, Reed kind of does the stupidest thing in the movie, which is like, hey, here's the situation. We didn't sacrifice our baby, everybody. And then everyone's like mad.
Yeah.
And then like everyone's mad at the Fantastic Four, and it's like, well, for a scene or two, and then like
Yeah.
Sue gives a cool speech. I like that, like full
That's
on
my
space
favorite scene in
age,
the
like,
movie. That's what
we're
made
one
me
big
like sold
family.
on her.
Yeah, we're the family of the human race. I'm like, great, awesome 60s.
And
like,
it was hammy, and it
utopianism,
works for
great.
this material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's great delivering it. But then also it's like, well, then there's some tension between Reed and Sue, for about a scene, and then we resolve that. Then like, okay,
Yeah.
now we're gonna all these portals, and like, okay, cool. For a scene, and then Silver Surfer blows them all up, and then you have Johnny is like, oh, I have a dangling thread, I gotta talk to Silver Surfer. So then he does, and then she goes away, and then that scene's done, and then we finally get some kind of connective tissue in this back half, which is, hey, remember that one portal that didn't get blow up? Why don't we just send Galactus back with that? And I'm like, great. But and then it's like there is that dangling thread of like, well, hold on, what about Silver Surfer? Okay, well, we got to bring her back for like the self-sacrifice, and it's like all this stuff feels like you could have, like, I think of just Mad Max Fury Road and how effortlessly that blends everything together, and it's just pure action. And like, I think of like Furiosa. Really, George Miller should just make a superhero movie, and it's a shame he didn't get to make his Justice League movie. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I think about stuff like that, and how like all the stuff kind of, it feels like it's not balancing all of its plates properly, and or like it's balancing them. It just doesn't feel like it's all part of one piece. It
Well,
feels like
and-
it's become unwieldy.
And I think this is just a thing with the plot of this movie where they try a thing and then it doesn't work, and then so they try a different thing and then that doesn't work, and then it's like I like how streamlined it is, but like at the same time I don't like it. And so it's like while
I get exactly what you mean,
it's the
Jayson,
same
I
thing.
guess.
While I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, this is simple. I don't have to think about this. But then I look back at it, and it's like, they just tried a thing, and then it didn't work, and then they did another thing, and then that didn't work. So, like, I don't know.
Go ahead.
What, to something Cotter mentioned a minute ago, what I wish we spent more time on, that I thought was the most interesting idea of the movie, was when the world starts to turn on them. Like that, idea that was really interesting, and weirdly, there's a lot of Last of Us in that. If you've played that whole game, you know, or seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. And when the world starts to turn on them, I really liked that, and then I just wish we got to spend more time. I'm very of two minds about that speech, because it's very good for this movie. I think it works because I like how optimistic it is, but I don't know, like, do you buy, like, that not one person in that crowd after that speech says, screw you, give him the baby. Like, no, she changes the hearts and minds of every single person there. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. In this, it worked. Well, it's because... So we're already simplifying things in this really heightened reality, saying the world revolves around this team. And it is your Batman 66 culture of dependence.
I was gonna say that.
Like that, like it is that situation, right? And so you have that one moment of doubt. We are playing the people of Earth as a singular character, and at the moment where there is they're just this simple-minded because they've relied on the Fantastic Four for too long. 4 years is too long, and everybody's minds got dumb, and they became the citizens of Townsville. And so what happens is there is a clear answer to this problem, which is sacrifice the baby. Well, maybe the Fantastic Four don't care about it as much as we thought they would. They won't give up their baby. And then Sue says, hey, we should be better than that, and I won't give up my child for you, but I won't give up you for your child. And they're like, wow, that's a platitude that sounds really good. And we want to believe in our heroes, even though we're really, really scared. But this is the best Reader's Digest I've ever read. And then the reason Robert, it works is because there's a solution right after that. Because Reed says, here's how we accomplish it. And if they didn't have that, then I wouldn't buy that they go along with it. And it's also important to note that the moment they think they've failed, we look at the baby monitor. and Reed is clearly thinking, again, the math problem. Okay, this is the only other thing we can do. But he's not thinking sacrifice the baby. He's thinking, use it as bait. And by the way, I really love that bit where Sue kind of freaks out on him and is like, I know we have to do this, but like, I'm not gonna be happy about it. And anyway, I really liked that moment with her.
And then Johnny and Ben are like, that's a terrible idea.
But that's why it works, because if they hadn't come up with Teleport Galactus, then they would be right back to the townspeople hate them. Mm-hmm. Or the people of the city hate them. Now, it is really easy that they have one bridge left. Yes. Like, that's pretty easy.
But that's the kind of silliness I like in this era of science fiction and comic books, and like I like that.
It's not too convenient though, because she's going there for the baby, and that's when Johnny has to intervene and distract her with the messages. So I was like, it's not too horribly contrived.
Oh, is that why that? I didn't catch on a first viewing why that bridge was left unbroken though. So
yeah, he has that confrontation with her before she destroys.
Okay, well, there you go.
But like, she could have, blown up the teleporter before coming to get Franklin. Whatever.
Oh, yes.
But the thing though is, it's like, I think that there's probably like a cut of this movie where the world is a little less on the side of the Fantastic Four, and the only reason we see it this way is because we're seeing it through their eyes.
Yeah.
Because like, there's a point where they're like, there's Galactus cults, and it's a very funny gag, and it's even played in the credits, and there's like a Galactus worship song. It's
like a 60s protest song, but
I missed it. That's what the lyrics of that were. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's
it
like,
is,
I gotta look. I didn't realize that.
Devour us. And my theater was dead silent because we were just wrapped up in the song, and I don't think people were catching on to the lyrics. And I was like, this needed to be set up in the movie. Usually, how you do this gag is you play the song in the movie for like a second, and you go, "Ha, that's funny." And then in the credits, the Lord is getting to hear the whole thing. But there's not enough setup for it, so you don't.
It's like The Simpsons with Spider Pig.
There you go.
It's that.
Exactly. And then also, like, the Mole Man gets set up at the beginning, and he's only really set up at the beginning because he has like a part to play towards the end. And it's like, okay, like, I see this, like, that kind of stuff feels very utilitarian to me, where it's like there's like these inklings of like a more complicated world, and we kind of pave over that, and that's fine. We don't need to see all of the details. Like, I think like, if they included everything that we're talking about, it would have felt way too overstuffed. So I get that some of it's got to go.
It's also nice just to know it exists, as far as like other supervillains and that kind of stuff. But yeah, because we get mentions of some of them, but we don't actually really see them even.
But apparently, like, John Malkovich played the guy with the red monkeys. Yeah, and like he was in it, but then like he got cut, and it's like, well. Kind of been nice to at least have seen one of them who doesn't come back in a plot utility sense. You know what I mean? So
I think that could have been our opening action sequence, and quite possibly was, where it's a full sequence of just the Fantastic Four versus the Red Ghost or whatever that guy's called.
Yeah, Red Ghost.
And then that's just setting them up, and I wish that was in the movie if that's what it was supposed to be.
And I wanted to mention Molecule Man, but I'm hoping that he'll actually feature in Secret Wars, so because he does in the comics.
So,
I will say, I can't believe it worked on me, though. Them recreating the cover of Fantastic Four issue 1, I was like, you got me. You got me good, guys.
So Dad had a question that I want to bring up.
I had a question.
I don't know if you don't have this question anymore.
Oh, well,
but the Fantastic Four seem to be the only superheroes in this universe.
Yes.
Is that a good thing?
So
do we wish there were other...
I think it works for the story they're telling. I mean, there could be, like, vigilantes and stuff running around. We know there's other, like, enhanced individuals, but they're the only superheroes. They're the only celebrity superheroes, and for this story, I think that's fine.
Yeah, again, it's that culture of dependence thing. So you almost don't want there to be any other superheroes because the world revolves around them, at least yet. The nice thing about it, because when I mentioned that to you, I was like, it would be fun if you had a 60s Marvel universe. I almost wished on when I saw it that we saw a flash to one or two other superheroes that, like Robert was saying, were like street level and couldn't have really gotten involved in the Galactus fight, so you wouldn't have had that. But the more I'm thinking about it, like I said, with the potential, and I don't know if they'll do this, but just the potential to have more movies in this world with other characters, it's Marvel's first family, so you still could do it. Like, you could still have more superheroes come after them, and then this movie works fine as it is. But then you do, your Spider-Man or your Hulk or something down the road.
Also, I haven't mentioned my actual best thing. It's not my actual best thing, but it's my funny best thing.
I know what he's gonna say. Go ahead.
Which is Mole Man. People don't like Mole Man, and other people do like Mole Man. I really like Mole Man. When we realized, when we found out who it was, I laughed for about 3 minutes. Cause I really like that guy. He's in Cobra Kai. And we couldn't stop laughing at him in the theater. Like, he's terrible.
Single thing he said. So, once again, some of the comments said that my thoughts on this movie are a paradox. Here's another paradox. I hated that take, and I laughed at everything he said.
This must be where the sausage is made.
Like, I thought his line delivery was wonderful. I didn't like the kind of joke they made him. And I didn't like the whole, like, he can't just be called Mole Man. He has to have, like, a regular person name, and then people call him Mole Man, and he doesn't like that.
You just called me Blob.
Right along with the Thing won't say clobbering time, and they, like... And I didn't like that they made that his thing, because he doesn't get enough to do in this movie, and then his one running thing is he won't say clobbering time.
No, he has a beard. That's the other one.
Yeah, that's not even really that much of a running thing. It's just we set it up and then he has it. Okay, and then
there's plenty of running thing. And then there's
and then there's a girl that he's interested in, and then he goes and sees her, and then that was the main thing I thought was left on the cutting room floor. There's something going on.
I think I missed something earlier in the movie. I only caught her at the last scene. I don't know where she is else in the movie.
He has a conversation with her towards the beginning
set
on
up
Nancy Street. Yeah.
Okay.
She when he's like picking up the car and showing, like, she's the teacher, I think.
Yeah, she's the teacher that comes out and is like, "Oh, you should have thrown it." No, I'm kidding. Don't do that.
An hour and 45 minutes later.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't remember who that person even is at that point. Yeah.
It's not Alicia Masters. That's who it is.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Alicia features majorly in the Coming of Galactus story, now that I'm thinking about it. And then you have a stand-in for her that's not her. Again, that felt like another, well, we've done it in the other movies, so we can't do that here. Like, there's no reason it shouldn't have been her, but...
Yeah, the one thing I really missed, though, was Ben's older brother who bullied him, and when he was beating him up as a kid, he said, "It's clobbering time." I really needed that in this movie.
That is the best. We haven't talked, before I go, we haven't talked about Silver Surfer much.
Yeah.
Which people have really strong opinions about. Cap has really strong opinions about it.
Yeah.
I'm so indifferent just because, like I said, I'm not that attached to the source material. I'm coming at this as a very casual Fantastic Four fan. Yeah, I need some more bits with her for that self-sacrifice to work, but I think she's fine in the movie. I think the effects are mostly fine. There's some wonky shots, but I think she's fine. I think she works in the movie. I totally get, like, if you're a fan of the original, if you're a fan of Nora, wish it was him. Totally respect to that. Can relate. If you're a big fan of that character, just put that character here. Totally cool. I get the preference. What I think is weird with a lot of the discourse with this movie, whether it's her or Pedro's casting, is, well, that's not what I want. That's not as off the page as I want. I think that's weird, a weird place to come from when the MCU, that's not the precedent the MCU has set. Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man was a very new spin or update on that character. Of course, the Mandarin twist in Iron Man 3 was very controversial, divisive, and when you look at the big storylines, this is doing Coming of Galactus, but you look at Civil War and Ultron and Infinity War, and, like those are very loose adaptations.
Invasion.
So, Secret Invasion, God. So again, I totally understand if, as a fan, you're like, well, that's not what I want. It was closer, blah blah. Again, totally get that. Totally respect that. And to Cap's credit, you're at least consistent because Thanos, the movie Thanos we got, is not comic book Thanos, and you were not happy about that. And so, totally give you credit for that. It's just. I just think it's weird to come in with that expectation when that's just not the precedent. When I think of the vast majority of MCU characters, I think, oh, this is like a spin or update on that character. There's not much that I think is like that off the page. That's just where I'm coming.
And here's where here's where your logic is flawed. Because I'm gonna pick a fight with you for a second, because
go for it.
It's against the pitch, and that's why people had an issue with it. It's not just we're fans of these characters. I mean, like we care more because of that, obviously. But it isn't just like this is what our vision is for it. The pitch is we went back to the '60s and we took Fantastic Four off the page. That's the pitch. And what you're doing is we did that with everybody except these two characters. That's what's weird about it. It's not really about MCU precedent. You we did not reinvent most of these characters. Do you see what I'm saying? It's weird. The reason it's weird is because it sticks out like a sore thumb. That's what's weird about it. You're finally gonna give us the like science fantasy stuff in the comics we never got before. We got Herbie and we got the Fantastic Car and we got all this stuff like right off the page, but we've got to like take Silver Surfer's wife and make that Silver Surfer, maybe because we did it in the previous movie, maybe because we don't think we have a diverse enough cast. It's really hard to say what the motivation was, but it's weird because it sticks out.
Also, Norrin Radd and Shia LaBeouf are just different characters. Like, if you want a character in the movie and you get a different character, like, yeah, they're both Silver Surfer, but they are different characters.
Yeah, and that's where the thing you said about Robert Downey, like completely different situation. Like how are those remotely comparable? That's still Tony Stark. This is a character
that is not at all comic book Mandarin. Like, I don't know.
But again,
I get what you're saying.
There were also
composite characters. Like we do in the MC, like we do composite characters all the time in adaptation. Like, that's not new.
But a lot of the time, people get mad about it. Like Mandarin. Like the example that you're saying.
A lot of people were mad about it. Yeah,
it's the same thing. So yeah.
I don't know, again, I'm coming at this from a very indifferent place because I don't know that source material. Maybe if I read it, I feel different. I think Silver Surfer's cool. I've always liked Silver Surfer.
And the other thing too is the composites that you're talking about have usually been with like somewhat more minor or not as like super popular, well-known characters. Like Silver Surfer is a big enough deal. It's very odd to do that with that character. That's some of it too. And like if you're an Iron Man person and you really care about his rogues gallery, I kind of get that. But in the like larger span of just like what am I trying to say? Like just public consciousness, Silver Surfer is an odd character to do that with, and odder that it's not just a gender flip, especially when with this we said. It's Shia LaBeouf so that we can like try to appease comic fans by saying, well, it's at least a character off the page and there is a place in comics where that has happened. Okay. But then what gets weird about it is there is no Norrin Radd in the movie. And when we flash back to her family is just her and a kid, or at least that's all we see. Maybe she has a husband, but we conveniently don't see him. So effectively, it is just a gender flip. Like, she's Norrin Radd, but we called her Shia LaBeouf. Like, it's just a gender flip. But for the story they're telling and the again, like, matriarchal theme they're going with. If they brought that whole thing more to the fore, that like she's a mother and so she like sympathizes with Susan Storm, and like bring that a lot more to the fore. I like, for the sake of the story, I'm really getting her being like, suddenly her gender matters arguably more than Norrin Rad's gender mattered. Like, I kind of see it, but at least let her have a husband in the flashback, so we have a parallel, right, even if you don't name him, so that we have a family parallel between them. That's a little bit more meaty, right? Like, they got close to winning me over on it. They honestly really did.
Yeah, and I agree that her arc feels not complete, and we need more of it, as we've been saying this whole review.
Yeah.
Austin in the comments brought up that, female Taskmaster everyone hated, and they just got rid of her in Thunderbolts. And yeah, I agree. She's awful in that movie. I'm just saying, if I'm taking the movies on their own, like, Taskmaster, that movie sucked, and Silver Surfer in this movie, I think, is fine. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing this character again, or I don't think this character is unsalvageable, like,
no,
Taskmaster was.
Also,
so I'm just trying to take the thing on its own
I think
terms.
the performance is good.
Also, Silver Surfer as an idea is still cool. Like, she's still a cool character, even though it's that character and not Norrin Rad. Like, the idea of her being a Silver Surfer.
Even though they kind of gender flipped it, she got cool stuff to do.
Yeah.
Like, she was fun to watch. And it also, like I said, gave Johnny something to do and let him have his skirt chasing thing. It's like, if they had to do it, at least it wasn't completely arbitrary. Like, there ended up being story thematic reasons to do it.
Yeah, I think
I respect that.
Well, and I think
it felt like. It felt like a mandate from on high that a writer said, "Okay, how do we make this into a story?" That's what it watches like.
No, that's a great point. Like, I think from day one they went with the female version just because, it's been done before. We want, like you said, want to differentiate it, and we want another main female character in the movie.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what happened, and I wish they were just more honest and transparent about that. I'm not coming at this like from either side. I'm just trying to take the movie on its own terms and say, yeah, I think it was fine. And I think the Johnny angle of it all have the most interesting justification for that. You just need more setup and payoff with it. Everything in the middle with those two I really like. It's just the setup and payoff that's lacking.
It is weird
in their
that
art.
scene where he says, "God, why does this have to happen when I finally find like a cool girl I like?" And I'm like, she showed up to have your planet get eaten by a giant god monster. Like, why did you think you had any chance with this woman? And why would you want to date her? She's bringing doom to your world.
Hey,
so Connor,
that's interesting, baby.
It's interesting.
Connor, you were trying to chime in earlier.
Yeah,
Did you have anything to say on this matter?
I have, well, see, like I said, I'm not standing on stolen valor. I'm not going to pretend like I'm some kind of Silver Surfer fan, okay? I'm just going to say Julia Garner is a very good actress. I know most people probably know her from Ozark. She was in that Wolfman movie that came out earlier this year. But if anyone wants to see her give a really good performance in a movie, she's really good as the second build kind of co-lead in a movie called Grandma that starred Lily Tomlin, and it came out 10 years ago. That's where I kind of first saw her. She's really good in that movie, so recommendation, kind of a small indie movie, so I wanted to throw that out there.
Okay, great. Cap, would you join the Galactus cult? Obviously.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm already in the Galactus cult. I don't know if you
that made me laugh out loud in the theater.
Oh, no, it was wonderful.
You see that 3-foot statue behind him? Obviously, he's in the Galactus cult already.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
The only thing I want to say about Galactus is he's cool. I like him. Perfect casting. I wish he didn't look so CGI 100% of the time. And it's heartbreaking that Cap, have you seen the photos? Like, he's in a real costume.
I've heard this.
I've
heard it's practical.
And it's wonderful. And in the movie, it's all covered in CG. And just do it practically.
So here's the thing. I'm not going to say you're right about 100% of the time. What's weird is it looks very real in the shots from behind where you just see his head and his shoulders. And then whenever there's a wide, now it looks like a video game cutscene. And I'm with you. It kind of hurts my feelings a little bit.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it looks more real than that. So obviously it could have.
Not to get all soapboxy about it, but I totally will. I think the root of this problem, it's we as a society have just been conditioned to mediocre CGI in these kinds of movies. And I genuinely think general audiences are in a place where if you did that exact same thing, but practically like it was an old Godzilla movie, the collective us would say, "Oh, that's cheesy, that looks weird, that's outdated." Do the exact same thing as mediocre CGI, and we think it's fine. And
So
that's
we've
just how
also-
modern
we've just
movies look.
conditioned people.
But
with
also,
this.
that would be cool in this like '60s movie. Like
I
that would
agree.
be awesome.
And I had this exact
and it
same
would make
problem.
it feel more like Star Trek.
And I had this exact same problem with the very first Ant-Man movie, where that's got some cool action scenes and some creativity, but everyone was like, "Oh my god, the shrinking's so cool." I'm like, why does he have to turn into a CGI character every time he shrinks? Part of the fun of shrinking movies is putting people on big elaborate sets and
Yeah.
big props and stuff. Why does it have to be 100%? Like, shoot the guy on a green screen. Why is Ant-Man physically CGI every time he shrinks in that movie?
And forgive the minor swearing, but get a goddamn real baby 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And I don't care if that baby is not giving the exact facial expression you want, live with it. Make it an actual... Could you believe that the bit at the end where it's a real baby and then for a minute it isn't because there's a facial expression they can't get the baby actor to do, so they make it CG so you can have that expression.
Here's the
and
thing.
It's Uncanny Valley, and I can't and when she gives birth, it's got to be a CG baby because they're like, well, it's always unrealistic in movies because you always have a baby that's like too old and everybody can tell it's too old. I'm like, I'm taking out a lot more by this like plastic looking baby.
That close encounters shot of the CGI hand coming out, I was like, "Oh god, it's a monster!"
It's alive.
Sorry, Jayson. What were you gonna
Yeah.
say?
I have to say I wasn't actually trying to pay attention to the CG, and so I didn't catch it as much as like, I don't look out for CG in movies because
You've been conditioned. You're
It
too young.
just
and
makes-
you've been conditioned.
well for me it just if I look out for it, it makes the movie feel less real, and it's like
But to me, it jumps out. Like I'm not looking for it.
Yeah.
There it is.
sometimes that just does happen, like in Thunderbolts with that action scene with Bob in the Avengers Tower. Oh my god,
Oh yeah.
that action scene looks terrible, and I think it's I noticed it more than anything in this movie.
So-
I disagree. I think the CGI baby is worse. It's not the worst CGI baby
Now,
because
it could
at
be
least
worse,
they-
but I didn't notice it as much.
that's fair. At least the baby is real in a few shots, so it has that going for it. But it's not as
even
bad as the CGI.
introduced as a real baby. And after Flash, it should be it should be illegal to have CG babies in movies.
It's not that bad. It's close, but it's not that bad. But yeah,
They didn't
Oof,
put him in a
boy.
microwave.
that is true.
One of the things I was thinking
That's
about
how
was
the
like,
sausage
so
is made.
That's how
I kind of had what Jayson was saying, where it was like I wasn't expecting a CGI baby. Also, the theater I went to go see this at doesn't have the best like projection. I think like their bulbs are probably at like 60%, to be honest. So a lot of the kind of wonky CGI baby wasn't super noticeable. But there's that one thing towards the end when Sue comes back where it makes like this like the Rock kind of like face, and I just like sat there staring at the screen. It's like I didn't even like absorb the next 20 seconds. I was like, did that baby just like raise his brow at me like he was the Rock? Like what
and I'm
just
telling
happened?
you, they thought that shot was so important they had to replace a real actor with a visual effect, Connor, and the face it made you're like, this looks like a cartoon, it's not real, and a baby couldn't actually make it, and they knew that, and that's why they changed, but they thought it was so important that it did that. Is that one of Franklin Richards' superpowers?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can get away with it because maybe that's just what he looks like. Because he's a super baby.
No.
Maybe. You know, okay, so we got Baby Geniuses 2, Super Babies. We have Son of the Mask. We have The Flash. And we got this. So
True.
I want Cap to have a top 10 CGI Super Babies superhero rewind episode.
We gotta wait another
happen.
10 years and then we'll have enough of them.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, how did you guys feel about the death fake out at the end with Sue Storm? Because I complain about those all the time. Like, I usually really hate them. And once again, I'm mixed on this one. Because I actually thought it being an alternate reality, there was a chance they were killing her. Except we probably know she's in in Doomsday, and I just wasn't even thinking about that.
We do. Her name was on that chair in that stupid video.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
I was so mixed on that too. It's well acted.
Yeah.
Everyone in that scene does a great job. She's amazing. Like when she's fighting Galactus and she goes so feral with it, it's awesome. Great job, Vanessa Kirby. That was wonderful. And everyone's selling that Pedro. Everyone's selling that scene when they think she's dead. And all I could think was, oh, we're doing the Rise of the Silver Surfer scene again. Okay, maybe that's in Coming of Galactus, so we're just being accurate to the source material. I just thought it was really weird.
Also, like,
I just thought it was weird. We once again had a scene where Sue Storm dies and somebody brings her back with magic powers. Like that happens in both movies, and I was like, oh, okay. And I'm conflicted like Cap is because, well, you need the baby to have something to do with its powers.
Yeah, and
so,
then it's Incredibles, right? Because it's like you've been waiting for this baby the whole movie to have its power, and then now in this know, important moment, the baby gets its powers.
The messed up thing with that scene, I think, is that he let the baby touch a dead body. Like, even though, like, I don't know, like, I guess he knew that maybe it would, like, I don't know.
No,
like,
it's his mom. Like,
I think
honestly,
he wanted to give him one last moment with her.
Sure.
And if she was actually dead, that's a shocking moment in the movie.
Yeah.
Like you put the baby down and it's cuddling the corpse of its mother. Like that's nuts. Mm-hmm. And that's the moment you go, well, of course she's about to come back to life.
That would be insane. But that's like Thunderbolts when like you think that the little girl dies.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But it's like, no.
Yeah, the second that happened, I was like, oh, okay, she's coming back. They're all coming back. We're good. But
I was
that's like Thunderbolts.
Momentarily shocked by that moment.
Yeah, no, me too.
Yeah.
No, it's a good moment and it works. And I had the exact same thing with Thunderbolts I did this movie where I'm like, well, if I'm a kid, if I'm like 10 years old watching this movie, it's probably a lot intense.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, look, we're adults. We've seen a lot of movies. People often say, oh my God, that was so predictable. It's like, well, but if you like this genre stuff and you've seen a lot of things, you're going to be more conditioned to these tropes and things. So I always have to keep that in mind, that if you're a more casual moviegoer or if you're a kid, like, you're not going to have that experience. So I do always want to kind of.
And I'm cynical and I've done this for too long, but that is a trope I just want to retire. This person might be dead and then they come back to life. I just want to retire
I hate
that.
a fake out trope, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a trope I generally dislike. But honestly, like when I could see them playing that card, I was like, so at the end of the day, you're playing the card, but how do you play it? You know? And I thought the way they played it was honestly about as good as I could have hoped for. So,
do you think we could have had a stronger setup for it of like Sue suggesting, "Oh, I can use my force field powers to push him in the thing," and Reed or someone saying, "No, you can't do that, Sue. That'll take too much energy. That could kill you." Or do you think that's too telegraphed?
Reed does say that, yeah.
Oh, okay. I missed that. I've seen the movie once.
Question:
okay.
In the comics, can Sue Storm make things invisible that isn't herself?
Sometimes I think.
Because in this movie, she makes an entire spaceship invisible.
Yeah, and I didn't remember that being a thing she could do, and that might be a more modern thing that it's just been too long since I've read.
I thought it was fine for the movie.
No, I'm not even. I'm not even complaining about it. I thought it was super cool in this.
It was awesome.
I'm just trying to remember if that's a thing she does in the comics or not.
Also, I didn't even know she had force field powers. So like,
I thought one of the plans was going to be, Sue, you got to make the Earth invisible so Galactus
that would
shows
be
up
great.
and goes, oh, and then he'll leave.
Now, I'm the Fantastic Four fan here. What happened
Okay,
was she saw the movie Wonder Woman 1984 and said,
there
I
you go.
can do that. And so she stole Wonder Woman's powers and was able to turn
It
stuff
was a lot more
invisible. So
plausible here.
She was telling
that
the
was
truth.
canonically the reason she did that. Yeah.
No, I mean that seems like a fine extension of her powers. And I mean,
Mhm.
Oh, it
the
is,
thing I
yeah.
said earlier about the movie seeming to pitch itself as being, more off the page, like even if that's not a comic book, it's a decent extension. Like I don't have a problem with that. And it makes her like a lot more relevant in situations like that. I mean, the thing is, Sue Storm is already really powerful. Like that's that makes her even more powerful if that's not a thing she can do already. But I can't remember. I can't remember if she can make an entire airplane invisible.
Everyone's saying yes.
Oh, okay.
She can.
Okay.
So.
And
So
I gotta get going. I stayed a half
Me
hour longer than I
too.
should have, but it's
Oh,
fine.
no.
Thank you guys. I
Thanks,
had a good
Robert.
time.
We appreciate
Pretty
you,
good
buddy.
movie. I liked it. Yeah. Thumb up. Thumb up. Good movie. I liked it.
Thanks, Robert.
Yeah. Thank you. See you guys.
We'll see you, buddy.
good to see you, Robert.
Okay, I
I've been
just gotta
going
fix
so
this
long,
so
my
that we can
lights
see
turned off.
Connor. I'm sorry. What was that, Connor?
I said I've been going so long, my lights turned off.
Oh no.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that one went off.
I may have
was
to
like,
go
oh.
soon as well.
We probably don't have too much more we've got to do, guys. We'll hit these super chats and we'll see if there's any other, big aspects we got to hit. But
There's the Patreon and the.
oh crap, we got to do that
Yeah.
too. Well, if you need to get going after a bit, feel free to. That's
Sure.
fine. John Ty had a $5 super chat. What this movie does really well is it finally utilizes the multiverse aspect of the saga. I'm glad he said that. That was a big point I wanted to make, Connor. This is what the multiverse saga should have been all along. Is some of their movies are just you make an out of continuity thing in a different universe that's its own standalone movie, and then maybe if you want to do a big event when you get to the Avengers movies, you bring some of those characters together and you do a big multiversal team up thing. But like this is what it always should have been.
Yeah, I remember that was sort of like a fan theory for a second, where like all the movies in the multiverse saga were all on different Earths and we just didn't know it yet. But then that turned out to pretty obviously not be the case.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know if someone over at Marvel caught wind of that or they thought about it before that. But yeah, no, I think seeing it, like it's a much more compelling, pitch as an audience member.
And I have suggested
And-
that a few times in the Captain Logan show. They did precisely what I keep saying they should have done. Way too late in the game. And I didn't know it going in because I thought part of the movie would take place in 616.
Well, yeah, and the weird, I don't know, like it does feel kind of weird, like because there was all the Bob Chapek era Disney just cranking stuff out, kind of glut of what is most of the multiverse saga now. It kind of feels like the Marvel universe really starts again with Thunderbolts, or it feels like that's has a lead into Fantastic Four. This has a lead into Doomsday. The Doomsday teaser or fair video is like selling you on the Thunderbolts are going to be in it and the Fantastic Four are going to be in it and the X-Men from the Fox universe. So it feels like this year's releases are the ones that they're kind of keeping a focus on and seem to be communicating to the audience that these are the ones you can start like if you fell out
Yeah,
of
good
love
point.
with the Marvel universe, you can get back in now. But like you said, it feels way too late for us to be looking forward to the culmination of all this stuff.
It's going to feel like, I think, unless they just play it really weird and they try to make us care about characters nobody has cared about all this time. But I think when you get into Doomsday, Connor, it's going to feel like they put a bunch of stuff in a drawer and hope you forget about it. And some more recent movies will, like you said, be the things that they hope you're paying attention to. The good news for them is their last couple of movies have starred or introduced some of the more compelling like second wave characters, because if this was a couple of years ago, they would have put the Marvels real front and center, and that movie bombed and nobody liked it, so you probably won't see those characters as hard. when you get into Doomsday, and like you've got all these characters that they've tried to push real hard that people just have not found relatable or compelling or have thought are just kind of generic, and then you get the second Black Widow, who I know Thunderbolts bombed, but people that liked it really, or that saw it really like her, and a lot of us wished that Black Widow had kind of been that character in the first place, and then here this whole cast is good, and so like they actually have some characters now that they can lean on, which is good. Like if they make their main cast the characters they ought to.
I was gonna say, like, I was gonna make a joke earlier about they're gonna push Galactus into the universe that Photon went to at the end of the Marvels. And that's your, but no, like, yeah, it does seem like I have noticed a sense of interest in like the Thunderbolts. I wasn't crazy about that movie. I thought it was okay. But there does seem to be interest kind of in what they've got going now because, like I said, I think the real sauce of the MCU has been their casting. And like, I don't really like any of the characters in the Thunderbolts movie, but like, look, David Harbour's a good actor. He's kind of taking a character who would annoy me in Red Guardian and making him somewhat endearing.
Yeah.
Yelena, that actress, Florence Pugh, she's great. Like all like Bill Pullman's son is great. Like it's like a thing where I think that like they've kind of, at least with Thunderbolts, gave them some kind of appeal to where I could understand why audiences would care. Like you said, though, I think it might just be a little too late if they want to make billions of dollars with this stuff anymore, which is what they're budgeting for. Like you said, Thunderbolts underperformed. I don't think that movie underperformed. Like if it made as much money as it did, but they spent $100 million less, it would have been a decent success.
Yeah. Well, that's what we keep talking about with Gunn and the DCU is it isn't that these things don't perform, it's that they cost too much.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's going to be a little more careful about budgets and set them up for success. Where Clayface is only $50 million. That thing only has to make $200 million to be successful, and it will. There's no chance that movie makes less than $200 million if they sell it right.
Yeah, it's interesting. I remember talking with some like people who I think I'm guessing they're teenagers, like a number of years ago, kind of coming out of the pandemic. And they were kind of talking about how like, wow, these James Bond movies don't do really well. Like none of them made only one of them made $1 billion. And
yeah.
I'm like, oh, you guys are young. Like, I don't think people understand like just how crazy it is. Like the run that Marvel had. Like,
yeah,
we're probably never going to see a run like that ever again. It was unprecedented. And like people got so used to just like every month there was like 1 or 2 or 3 movies making $1 billion. That don't happen, and it's not happening.
Will probably never happen again because China doesn't watch our movies anymore. I mean, like a lot
exactly,
of it had to do with overseas dollars. Hey, real quick, Jayson, I know you want to get going. Anything else you want to make sure that you get out before you get going?
No, I kind of said everything.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's a solid movie. It's not the worst superhero movie this year. So, that's good. But
again, 2 out of 3, and that ain't bad.
But I also don't think it's the best superhero movie we've gotten. I think that goes to Superman.
You mean this year?
Sorry, this year. I think that goes to Superman, and not Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I do too.
But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well, Connor, we've had a way better run this year because last year we had to do The Crow,
Kraven the Hunter,
Venom, The Last Dance.
I mean, Madam Web.
Madam
Web was that year?
Yeah, because Sony won the year last year for numbers, and nobody's going to disagree with this. That is quantity over quality, folks. Well done. You did it.
We salute you.
And probably never again. That's probably the last movies they put out. They got 3 in 1 year. 2024 was the dumping ground for the Sony Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man.
2023 was not much better either.
It-
With like Quantum Mania and Fury of the Gods.
Oh,
Like
that's
it was
true.
Oh
But Connor,
no.
well, and also we got Joker 2 last year. I mean, last year was rough. That was
And
friggin' rough.
I
I
know-
can't even remember any good movies from last year. Did we have any? Were they all
I
this
know
rotten?
you like Deadpool and Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Oh, yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine. That's true. That's
But I would say I hated Deadpool and Wolverine. So like to me it was just a really bad year last year. So
But yeah, I mean,
no, this is better.
I don't know. I think if we find time for us to go again, I would. I don't know if that would happen, but
yeah. I definitely want to.
this is a movie I would watch again in the theater.
We
And
gotta take Mikey,
But yeah, I was also
because Mike, you love it.
he likes Superman.
All right. Well, Jason's gonna get going.
Yep, this is a fun video. This is where the sausage was made.
Let me finish these super chats. Thanks, Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Goofster123, $10 super chat. Cap, did you enjoy the Avatar? Why does this have to come up? The Avatar 3 trailer before the movie. Shut up. Thanks for the super chat, though. I just know it's your most anticipated film of the year. Joking. Can James Cameron make other movies yet? So I keep up with that so not at all that I didn't even know that was coming out yet. And the lights go down, and I think the movie's about to start, and then it's that trailer. And I looked at Jason, and I kid you not, I said, F you, James Cameron. And then it goes, from James Cameron.
You know, it was funny. Like on Monday, I like texted my brother and Raska. I was like,
What was that movie
So
called?
what's the
Fire
Avatar-
and Boredom or something? I don't...
there's an obvious joke to be made. But it's called Fire and Ash.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
So there's an obvious joke to be made.
That's
but
obligatory.
I'm
That's
not going.
yeah.
I'm not going to make it. But I texted.
No,
my
no,
brother.
I'll say it like ABGN. It's Fire and Ash!
But on Monday, I said, "When is the Avatar 3 trailer coming out? Like, doesn't that come out this year? Like, for most of the..." And then it did. I was like, "Oh, there it is."
Is this a standard thing that we do that I've either missed or I just haven't been to the theater much lately, so I didn't realize it was a new thing we're doing, where we'll, like, premiere a big, important new trailer, and, like, we drop the house lights to do it, and then we go to the real movie? Because we also did that with The Odyssey, and I don't feel like I'd ever seen that before, but maybe I'm just not remembering that. But, like, both Superman and Fantastic Four have a trailer for a movie that just got a trailer where they dropped the house lights.
Yeah, I know they do that in like IMAX screens, where like if they have like special IMAX trailers, they will
Okay.
do that. But as far as like regular, because the same thing happened to me, and I just went to a regular house. It seems, yeah, I think that might be kind of like a new thing.
I meant to mention IMAX. Did you see this in IMAX?
No, I went to just a standard.
Yeah, me too, and I wish I hadn't. If I see this again in the theater, I'm definitely going to go to IMAX. Have you seen the videos with the side-by-side comparison
Oh no, I have
with
not.
this? So there is so much more frame with the big Galactus shots, where
That's cool.
it's like full body Galactus shots that they can only do on IMAX because it's so tall, and they drop the frame really hard where you lose like half of them. And I'm like, oh, I really need to try to see it that way. I didn't realize they dropped that much of the frame.
I totally forgot about that. No, like because on Disney Plus they have like the IMAX enhanced versions. I'm sure that's what that is. No, I wanted to see this in IMAX.
So
I
they'll
just-
put that out that way. So that's nice. At least on home video, we won't lose the frame if you want to see it that way.
Well, not on disc, but yeah, on streaming. They'll
Right, on
have it.
streaming.
But no, I wanted to see this in IMAX, but it was my mom's birthday yesterday, so I was like, well, I have to see this earlier in the day, and there was no IMAX times that worked for that. But I'll watch it again. I'll probably check it out in IMAX because what else is coming out?
Yeah, except you're gonna go to IMAX, and you're gonna watch the space scene, and then you're gonna leave, even though you paid your money. You're gonna watch that part and leave.
You know what? For my Galactus cultist friend, I'll be sure to stay and watch the full body Galactus shots.
Has it occurred to you that we are in the middle right now, Connor, of a really tragic comic book event? Like, our Fantastic Four has been slashed to 2. We didn't even do the Fantastic 3 thing. Like, we are cut in half right now.
When Jayson was getting up and leaving, I had that thought, and then I forgot to say it. So yeah,
I'm glad I got that in there. We are dropping like flies, folks. Galactus is just picking us off one at a time. Somebody pull out the ultimate nullifier.
What are we? Dan Slott's run, where it was the Thing and Johnny Storm.
Oh, is that what he did? I didn't read that after the first issue.
I think that's what he did. I didn't read it.
I don't remember.
My brother worked at a comic shop when that came out, so I remember looking at those covers. So.
It's funny. Robert put in a $2 super chat after he left and says the Green Knight used Ralph Ineson better. It's great. I don't even know what that is.
The Green Knight is a 2021 movie. It was an A24 thing, but it's an adaptation of like the Gawain and the Green Knight, the poem. But Dev Patel's in it. He's great. He plays Sir Gawain, and then
Wow.
Ralph Ineson plays the Green Knight. So the titular Green Knight. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Connor, I'm going to go ahead and read these Patreon comments, and if you think of other things we should talk about, let me know. Write it down somewhere. Ren Davis. So I did my standard 3-question breakdown. What's your favorite scene or moment? What thing would you change? What surprised you most? Ren Davis, I would say my favorite scene was the space sequence. So we'll see if there's a consensus with that. Really felt like we were delving into some pure sci-fi with the entire space sequence. The neutron star scene was incredible. He says, I think we needed more Galactus. The film lacked for not having stronger antagonism. I feel the themes of cooperation and unity would be much better served if we felt more existential dread from Galactus. Ben's line of "it's getting bad out there" didn't really land for me. We didn't get much of a sense of how the global community was shaken by the knowledge that impending doom was coming. How would you have solved that, Connor?
I don't know. I kind of had that question earlier, like when I was talking about how there's like the Galactus cultists, but
Yeah.
honestly, like this probably goes against the kind of utopianism that I do like,
Yeah.
but maybe if the city's not evacuated, that could add to like the pandemonium. And I know that's a very typical thing that we do, is to like kind of add that atmosphere of terror, but we do it for a reason. If that's what you want, then I think that maybe that could add something of like all the people running away from Galactus.
Yeah, well, and also it feels like a somewhat flimsy utopia. Like they think everything's perfect, so the moment anything goes wrong, everybody panics. 'Cause that's exactly what happens.
Mhm. Yeah, this is I think where the kind of the pace of it is like quick. We're building teleporters and like we kind of rush through a month and we get the clip show of what's happening around the world. But I think, yeah, if that's what you're wanting is that existential dread, then pacing it out slower would probably be, one of the ways in which that could benefit it.
I could argue that to some degree, and I'm not saying this is a movie with no heart at all. I'm saying that the emphasis is sometimes maybe on the wrong syllable. You could almost, if I wanted to be like pretentious literary analysis man, I might say that this movie feels like Reed Richards himself wrote and directed it. Because for him it's all about a math problem, and he's not always thinking about the like humanity and the ethics of the situation, and it's just solve the problem. That's kind of what the movie sometimes is.
That's kind of what Jayson was saying, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like a series of they try it, they fail, they try again, and I think that's a good structure to have. But like we've been saying this
It's
whole
with the
time,
in between.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh
Ren-
yeah, no, that's a good observation.
Ren Davis also says, I was surprised by how much I cared for the plot, as I wasn't big on the magical chosen one space godchild. Not my preferred place to go, especially with Doomsday's Secret Wars seemingly building off of that, but they did a good enough job mining personal stakes from it to match the planetary stakes. I agree with that. I was less irritated with the baby plot than I might have been otherwise. I'll say that.
Yeah, no, if you take away the baby element, there really isn't as much to like get emotionally out of this.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of mentioned earlier that it was a little, I wouldn't say frustrating, but maybe a little disappointing that like there is tension between Reed and Sue, but only for like a few scenes. Whereas I think like if you remove the baby element, really isn't a lot of that kind of tension. So I think
No,
that
where
is
would
kind of a net
interpersonal
hello.
conflict even come from? Yeah, you oddly kind of need it, and it is sandwiching a couple of big plots together, right? It's like we're doing the coming of Galactus and the coming of Franklin Richards, like as a story. Like I can see how they got to that. The bigger issue with it for me, like I said earlier, is just I don't fully understand what it does for Galactus. Somebody suggested
Right.
that I maybe Franklin is supposed to become the life bringer, and Galactus knows about that somehow. And so, because the life bringer Galactus was when he turns orange, and instead of eating planets, he brings life to them. So he's basically like the Genesis device from Wrath of Khan, and he'll go to planets and then make them, flourish, and that's what he has to do to survive. And I somebody was just suggesting, maybe cheekily, I'm not sure, that that's what Franklin Richards is, but I still don't know how that what that does for Galactus himself. Like I don't get how Franklin Richards being a cosmically powerful entity takes Galactus's hunger away. And I read somebody else was saying, sorry, it was a while ago, so I'm not going to go find the person's name, but somebody else was saying that, like, and it's just not explicit if this is the idea. We need to talk about it. Was saying that somehow Franklin Richards would like take his hunger and then he wouldn't have to eat planets anymore. I just don't even know how that works. It's not like there's a device in Galactus there. Like I just don't even get that. How would he do that?
The
And how
way
would
the
Galactus?
way
Galactus just immediately looks at that baby and is like, "I know precisely what the baby could do for me." And I'm like, "How?"
Mhm. Yeah, it comes across like Galactus was some guy who was cursed by a witch, and now he's looking for someone to pass the curse on to. That's kind of the
Yeah.
way it kind of came across as. And somehow he knows exactly how to pass it on, and that this kid is exactly who the one he has to pass it on to.
And I will say he is cursed in a way, because I mean Galactus does start as kind of a regular person, and but like before the formation of the universe, like in a different universe. And it's been a while since I've read Galactus's origin, so I'm very very fuzzy and rusty on it. But I was glad all that was left intact. It is brought up, like he does talk about that, which is cool.
Mhm.
Bag Studios, best scene, tie between escaping Galactus and the talk Reed gives Franklin. I assume he means the space scene we're talking about. What he would change, the opportunity for change for Silver Surfer cuts that whole character short. We've said this, yeah, and needed a scene or two to expand it. I feel so vindicated now. Most surprised by how standalone it is. I'm shocked the multiverse isn't baked into every scene, and even better, it's not even brought up but once. In his question, since a reboot is on the horizon anyway, pardon me, should Sue's death have stuck, and should Johnny have been allowed to sacrifice himself? No, because, well, I'm going to say no right now because I don't think they're going to full on reboot this part of it. This feels too much like a setup for a franchise. I would be shocked if the future Fantastic Four movies are not in this universe. Maybe not,
Yeah, and
because I know Feige's talking
yeah,
about full
no,
on reboot, but I don't see it. It doesn't add up.
yeah, it seems strange to get this cast for this property just to do a one-off with them before going into um, big Avengers crossover stuff. And like I had mentioned, the 4-year time jump at the end of in the mid credit sequence, I kind of had the thought of you can do sequels set in that 4 year time gap. They don't have to, but like you're kind of giving yourself that opportunity.
I will say I think it's kind of less likely they do sequels in that gap because they're not going to want to have to deal with a baby running around. I think it's a lot more likely that uh, they've. And also keep in mind that would feel now like prequels because we've established Doom
That's
with
true.
that. So I think it's not unlikely. I still think it's more likely that after the big Avengers crossover, they just go back to this world and tell more stories. I could be wrong about that. I know that that kind of contradicts
And
what Feige was saying, but I think they might keep this world intact.
no, I think you're probably right. And honestly, it'll probably be at least 4 years until we get a second one. So they're already, you know, maybe that's what they're doing.
Probably so. Jujira, I really and maybe what I'm saying is wishful thinking, but it just feels so much like a setup for a world, not just these characters. And some of that is because we don't go to multiverse at the end, which is what you do if you didn't want people that see this movie to remember this world. That would just be very counterintuitive marketing and movie making to me.
Well, and that's but the Marvel element is just the thing that I can also see them doing that. Like I
Yep.
thought Homecoming, like Homecoming, right? Like I thought that did a really good job of establishing that world of the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and then in the sequel they went to Europe, and then in the third one they kind of did a big multiversal crossover thing. And so like I never really felt like we spent a lot of time in that world established by Homecoming. So it's possible that this is all we see.
Well, I hope I'm. I hope I'm right about that, but
I hope you're right
I don't
too.
trust it. I don't trust it. But that's what I'm hoping. But I'm just excited it's possible. I didn't think it was
Right.
possible. That's where I'm at right now. Jajira, I really like the main four. The cast played off like they've known each other for years. I said that walking out. That's absolutely right. More villains besides Mole Man. I would have liked to actually see the Mad Thinker and Red Ghost, even just for cameos. And says he was surprised to see the cast of Roger Corman, the Roger Corman film, have a cameo. I missed that. I knew they were at the premiere. I didn't know it was because they were in it. He says they appear in various roles. The big one was in The People of New York, thanking them at the beginning. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
I had no idea. That is really cool.
I also think it's hilarious that they get cameos and nobody from the movies that were released are in any way involved. Now, it might be because they're gonna do something silly with one or more of them in the big multiversal crossover stuff with Doomsday. I guess that's possible, especially
I
since you
just really
saw
hope.
Tim Story, Johnny Storm in Wolverine or in Deadpool
Yeah,
Wolverine. Yeah.
I was gonna say I really hope that Killmonger meets the Josh Trank Johnny Storm because Michael B. Jordan played both of them.
Thanks for
We've
spelling that
seen
out.
Sinners. We've
It,
seen Sinners, so I'm used to two Michael B. Jordans hanging out together.
I
So,
haven't seen that yet.
oh, it's pretty awesome.
I
I
didn't.
liked
I
it a
didn't
lot.
realize he played multiple roles in that.
Plays twins.
Oh, cool. And I haven't seen him in anything in a while, so I would like to see that. Zero When Pigs Fly. The best moment was the segment of them in space. It gave us something I really wasn't expecting from this film. It was nice to see an almost sci-fi movie over a traditional superhero movie. I would have changed the casting of Mole Man. I really hated him in that role. Oh, but he said Mike Man, not Mole Man. So yeah, I also didn't like the cast of Mike Man. I wanted Mike Man more off the page, honestly. He says, I was surprised how much of the film was left on the cutting room floor. Back when Jurassic World Rebirth came out, they confirmed the film was 130 minutes. I didn't know that. When it was released, it was
Yes.
115. I noticed that a lot of the trailer material was cut out, which included my favorite shot that was not in the movie. It was the one with Johnny in the middle of space. So they even cut big action set piece stuff.
Yeah, no, I had
Wow.
heard about that. Yeah.
That sounds like a mistake to me. And do you agree with this? I don't know that the movie would perform any better or worse if it was 15 minutes longer. especially because people
Yeah.
are kind of accustomed to Marvel movies having bloated runtimes, and I don't think these days for a movie like, especially a teen movie, I don't know, 210, 215 looks very bloated anymore. That sounds like just a standard runtime now for this kind of thing.
Yeah. Weren't I need to look up the runtimes
Two and a
for
half,
Captain
sure.
America. Well, let's look at the runtimes for Captain America and Thunderbolts. Maybe they were roughly the same runtime,
Mm-hmm.
and they were probably like, well, let's drop some of this stuff out because both of those underperformed. So
Maybe so. Brave New
might have
World
been
was
like,
2 hours. It was hour 58, and
oh, okay.
Thunderbolts was 2 hours and 6 minutes. So I think
Oh,
you're
okay,
right.
then never mind.
I think they are trying to standardize these back to 2 hours in a way that they haven't been, because that's three. I mean, three makes a pattern. That's three movies this year that they haven't allowed to go more than 6 minutes past 2 hours. Now, Doomsday will be like 4.5 hours,
Yeah.
but question for the group. Well, unfortunately, two of our four mysteriously disappeared into space. How do you think Franklin will be implemented in the plot of Doomsday? Considering he can create pocket dimensions, I wouldn't be surprised if he creates Battle World if they're still doing that. I haven't given this any thought, but that's a good call. That is plausibly what they'll. Although I keep assuming Battle World will be created at least somehow in league with the Void, with the Sentry, because the way Thunderbolts handled his power, it felt very much like it was setting up Battleworld to me.
Yeah, no, there was like a wasn't there that
Could be some kind
concept
of
art?
mix between them, where like one
Yeah, I
enhances the other's powers.
well, because I know like there was like the concept art for I think the Kang Dynasty iteration of Avengers 5 that they've got discarded. I think Loki has to factor into this somehow with being some kind of weird like time god or something. You think that's
Oh
going to factor in? I don't know if you saw the second season of Loki,
no, I still
but
haven't. I forgot all about it.
okay.
I've just never gone back to
Yeah,
that.
but
I could also see them
there's
completely forgetting about that and just totally abandoning it.
yeah, I I don't know because like Loki isn't he in wasn't he announced as being in this one as well?
Oh,
I
you know
can't
what? Maybe
remember.
he was. Yeah, I can't keep up with all this stuff.
But no, yeah, it's like you got Franklin Richards, you got Loki, you got Sentry, you got like all these very hyper powered characters. The thing is, I don't know what they're gonna do with Franklin Richards. If they're gonna do like do some kind of reinvention of the powers, if they're like if they're gonna give him like just a bunch of stuff, like I don't really know. So I guess we'll see.
uh, Austin says hopefully Mike Man is better in Secret Wars. Matt 68, best moment, Sue's speech to the people to come together as a family in order to defeat Galactus. Thing I would change, give Ben more to do. Yeah. What surprised me the most, how much Pedro Pascal as Reed won me over. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was definitely happier with that than I expected to be. Captain Coon, favorite scene slash moment when the surfer takes the four to meet Galactus and he opens his eyes in just the dark of his ship. That was pretty cool.
That's cool.
And like the red eye thing, or I can't remember if it was red or what, but he has this eye shift thing where then they turn back to like normal Galactus eyes. And that's pretty cool.
Well, what I liked is my eyes was scanning the wrong horizon, and so when his eyes lit up over there, I was like, "Oh, nice."
Yeah, imagine how much cooler that would have been in IMAX.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And with 40% more illumination in your case. Thing I would change after the TV intro for them, have them doing a mission of saving people from another Fantastic Four villain, then do the scene of Reed and Sue in their bedroom. Oh, so he wants to change those scenes around to somebody's point
Yeah,
from earlier that was an odd
that was Robert. Yeah.
um, organization of scenes. And thing that surprised me, that shot of Galactus that I described before. It's a cool, pretty cool shot. Captain Coon's all about that shot. Doolittle, this movie was fire. Best moment, Reed telling Franklin he thinks something is wrong with him. Thing I would change, I tolerate Shala Ball's Silver Surfer before I accept it. That's the perfect way to put it. But that's not the thing I would change for this movie. Honestly, I would have restored Sue and Mole Man bonding with each other. They cut the two characters bonding. Oh, I didn't realize that was a thing. And I don't know why they did that considering Mole Man's role in the third act. Yeah, that does feel like it comes out of nowhere. Biggest surprise, depicting a morally ambiguous but ultimately good Reed Richards. I was also shocked. Yeah, good call. I was also shocked by Alicia Masters' absence. Reed points to the puppet master's crib. We know she exists. I want to see those 15 minutes.
I imagine there's going to be a lot of deleted scenes, when this hits Disney Plus and disc.
I'd love to think this could be the first time they finally do a director's cut, but probably not.
Yeah, probably not. But, if you're going to do one, this is so, disconnected from the other Marvel movies.
It's so standalone.
You could get away with
Just
it.
do it.
Yeah.
Joel
It's like
Davis.
the thing you've always said is like, oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Well, the thing you've always said is it's like when DC was having extended cuts, you're like, well, okay, is the next one going to be canonical with the theatrical cut or the extended cut of Batman v Superman? Like, it kind of does open up that list of questions, So, yeah.
Yeah, but I like it better with something like this. And also, this is a movie that might be massively improved by a longer cut. And, BVS and Suicide Squad were movies that didn't work before those cuts and didn't work after them.
Right.
Even if things made a little bit more sense, they still weren't good. Joel Davis, $2 super chat. Do you think Franklin is healing Doom's face? Interesting. I hadn't had that thought. That could be what's happening there. And then Robert Downey will just look like Robert Downey. Which people have been thinking they'll probably do anyway.
Time.
Yeah. Austin
What
says,
if what he did at what he did at Comic-Con, he does in like the movie, and he just takes the mask off dramatically, and then he just keeps the mask off, and it's just
I had
all
that
they
thought.
do.
Austin says someone asked Shackman if they do a director's cut. He said, unfortunately, no, because there's too much effects work that's unfinished. He says him saying unfortunately is telling. It does feel like somebody's vision got away from him a little bit, but was left more intact than it might have been, which I see as a win, but it's still kind of sad. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's kind of the Marvel machine, right? Like, this goes all the way back to like Kenneth Branagh.
I know. I'm not saying I'm surprised. It just sucks.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about like some of the ways in which Iron Man 3 was compromised.
Right.
But anyway, so that's the end of the Patreon questions. Thank you guys for answering those. And once again, if for future spoiler casts and other things, you want to get to weigh in and have your thoughts read on stream, patreon.com/geekvolution, and it's just the $2 tier. What else haven't we talked about that we need to talk about? Somebody said we haven't talked enough about Galactus. I'm not sure that there's much else to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've all said all I need to say about Galactus.
Okay, I'll go get him so that it feels like he's featured more.
Yes.
I'll get him. Just hold on.
Yeah.
We'll have more Galactus in our lives here.
While he's going to get Galactus, I'll say Sue Storm's speech was a Megalopolis speech, and it made me happy. I really hope that was in Megalopolis.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ever gonna sit through that. Should I sit through that?
Oh, you can't. It's nowhere.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no, they're not. Francis Ford Coppola said this is a theater movie, so you can't watch it online at all. So
They're not even releasing it on disc?
nope.
That's shocking.
It's insane. This whole movie's insane.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway,
Am I wishing I had gone to the theater?
I mean, I thought it was interesting. I liked it. Was it good? Probably not.
Oh,
But-
hold on. I need to refresh pages. Apparently, some Patreon questions came in that I missed. I'm sorry, guys. We're still friends, though. Okay, great. Favorite scene, the space chase. Also, the costumes are amazing. I love them. I also like the costumes.
Yes, I love how cozy the Thing's like sweater is. It's great.
A thing he would change. I wish Reed were more stretchy. He doesn't get to do the stretchy thing that much, either.
Yeah.
He says, "I don't buy Galactus stretched him to his limit." How do you feel about that? He would have to have a limit, but it does feel like he doesn't stretch him far enough. Like and I know this is like a back off shot, and Galactus is very, very large, but very large. I'll prove it. I'll prove it right now. How large? Look how large he is. Okay, this is. I mean, he's just huge.
Oh,
Now, forgive the crudity of this model. But anyway, so imagine this, but everywhere. But anyway, but like when he stretches him, he looks like he's playing with a Stretch Armstrong. Like it really should be longer than that. He should like tie him in a pretzel and I don't know. Oh my god! Oh my god! Hold on, his arm fell off. Hang on.
Oh my god!
I gotta fix his arm. Well, see, it's detachable because this was for a board game. This is for the Marvel Zombies board game, and so he has a detachable head and an arm because he can be Zombie Galactus.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Which is so freaking cool.
I was like terrified for a second that he broke it.
Oh no, I didn't break it.
No.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to freak anybody out. Forgive the crudity of this model. Anyway, so I gotta read some more things. But it's gonna drive me nuts looking at an armless Galactus. I gotta fix that real quick.
Yeah, come on. Get that on back on.
Get your arm on, Galactus. I've not had.
That's supposed to give him like a.
That's how you do it.
Bandage. Okay. Give him a bandage and a cast, and he'll be good to go.
Cosmic bandage. Daniel Davis, best scene. That Interstellar style set piece was rad as all heck. So. Everybody's saying that. We've got a consensus. And something that I wish more big budgeted comic book movies would do in general. What I changed, don't make the baby CGI. Yes. Also, I wish the Fantastic Four had more scenes together to establish a better dynamic as a team. What you are going to have some Fantastic Four in your Fantastic Four movie. This movie definitely feels like there was a lot left on the cutting room floor. For better or for worse. Ben, in particular, gets the short end of the stick. Most surprised how much Johnny's arc was basically about him having the hots for the Silver Surfer. I'm just surprised to say I liked that. That almost made it okay. Question, what other Fantastic Four villains outside of Doom and Galactus would you like to see adapted into film? My big one's Molecule Man. I'm all about the Molecule Man.
I want to see Skrulls. I want to see.
No, you don't.
Namor. Come on, in this universe, I want to see Skrulls.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's true. That's true. I don't want no Skrulls.
Yeah, no Namor. I mean, you know, if we got a character showing up for Johnny to have the hots for, why don't we have a villain show up to have the hots for Sue, and we could do that whole.
Sure.
Over and over and over again. So. Sure.
Dylan Musciello, favorite scene. I herald his beginning. I herald your end. I herald Galactus. Not a bad speech. Like kind of fun to have the herald say herald. Like I didn't hate that. I don't know if that's a thing he ever says in comics, but I thought that was kind of cool. I would add more scenes with Silver Surfer toward the end so that her mind changing at the end would feel more earned. This we're also seeing a bit of a consensus about, and I was most surprised by Galactus bargaining for... I like how every time he says Galactus, it's all caps. Galactus bargaining for Franklin Richards. It says Franklin's Richards. For Franklin's Richards. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Yeah, it's
I thought I
true.
had something to respond to that, but I
Well,
can't.
it's because the closest thing we had to Galactus before was Dormammu, and he comes to bargain. Joel Davis, $5 super chat. Thank you for the support tonight, guys. Wild theory: Franklin transforms Doom's face to look like Robert Downey Jr. because Franklin's cosmic powers need it to be for weird multiverse reasons. I think we can call that a plausible prediction, and that there would be some kind of a reveal as to why he looked just like Iron Man.
Yeah, I think that is a plausible reason. I don't like that we need him to look like Robert Downey Jr. There needs to be this whole like let be Doom.
I know.
Look,
I
I'll
know.
watch the movie. I might be able to buy it, and just if you're pitching me on it, I'm just kind of. I don't know if
Well,
I'm on
that's.
board just by the pitch.
I mean, this is a different thing, and that is so much more bizarre than this. But I mean, like I said, that's kind of where I am with Shia Bald Silver Surfer, where I'm like, if you were pitching me on that, I'd be like, don't do that. But like, you made me more okay with it than I thought I would be, and at least the performance was good. Like she's got presence. She honestly has. I hate that I'm saying this. In her way, she's got more menace than Galactus himself.
Well, and that was kind of one of the things of like why her not being so much in the second half was a little strange because it's like he is featured pretty heavily in that first half. In that we're like using her as a way to like track where Galactus is, and like there's those interactions and there's this mystery around her, and then once we know Galactus is coming, she kind of just goes away after like her interaction with Johnny, and it's like, oh, like the Silver Surfer element, I was kind of missing her because you're right, she does have a presence.
Yeah. Austin says it's so weird that our first look at Doctor Doom is over the shoulder while he holds the mask at the camera, so you know it's him, and I guess also potentially having his face fixed by Franklin. I'm not sure what's weird about that. Like, yeah, Austin sent me a message earlier, and he didn't actually see the movie, but he heard stuff about it, and he was like the way they're introducing Doom is weird, and like it's just a tease. I don't know. Like I'm not really surprised they did it that way. But what am I missing? Like what
Yep.
makes that so strange?
I don't think that's strange. I think that's just kind of typical, like teasing the audience in a post-credit framing
Where
of
you're not
something.
gonna pay Robert Downey to be there for 3 seconds.
Yeah, well, and it's like I think it might just be because he's holding the mask, like there's a camera there, but like it's a tease, so like
Yeah.
it's you. I'm forgiving of that because it is like a you're noticing, you see the green cloak, you see that baby Franklin's touching his face, and then like your eye lingers just enough to see the mask, and you go, "Hey, there's the mask," and then it cuts, and you're,
Well, and
it's fine.
I didn't even appreciate that he's probably changing his face. That's probably exactly what it is. I didn't think there was a big plot point out of it except, look, it's Doom being menacing and coming for Franklin, and so that's going to set up stuff for Doomsday. I thought the more important thing was just if you know anything about Fantastic Four, you've probably been wondering where Doom is. And if you know that there's a movie called Doomsday coming, you're probably wondering what Doom is. And then, no, he's coming, folks. There he is. Like, I thought that was kind of all it was. He says it's just a weird shot for introducing him.
There's a funny little tease where Latveria has a spot at the UN. I mean,
Yeah,
the Future
he's
Foundation,
he's missing.
and
I like that.
that was fun.
Let me just make sure I didn't miss any super chats. No, I think I got everything. Okay, what didn't we talk about?
I think we covered everything. I cannot. I even got to talk about the Thing's sweater. So I think I got everything.
Well done. Good job.
Say.
Yeah, it's fun. I had a good time. It's flawed, but it's good enough.
Yeah, I honestly, now that I kind of got all the stuff that bothers me about this movie off my chest, I think I can just be like, I've made peace with it. I could probably just watch it several more times and just be satisfied with the stuff I like, and know that the stuff I don't like is there, and just be okay with that.
Well, and I know we were comparing this to Superman earlier. How nice is it that we got two just like light science fantasy family films like that. Like
It's cool.
John
It's
Ty,
cool.
I
Oh,
really like Herbie in this movie. Yeah, we didn't really talk about that very much, but I don't know what there is to say. I like the way they handled that. He's fun.
yeah, Herbie Squall.
The voice is fun. He's very Wall-E.
Yeah, I like how his eyes are a tape or like a cassette tape,
Oh
and they
yeah,
take it out. That was cool.
yeah. It's cool they can
Oh,
replace the tape.
and the other thing I wanted to mention, I love Susan's like turtlenecked collar on her costume. I thought that was cool.
That's true.
Good fashion.
Yeah, I don't think I gushed enough about how freaking amazing she is.
She's great. She's awesome.
That's one of the most impressive things I've seen in a long time in a superhero movie. Is just how much I bought her, and that she feels like the kind of actress that could elevate any kind of like crappy stock script. And I'm not saying this was that bad, or I mean this is like a terrible script. I'm just saying like she could elevate anything.
Yeah, that Napoleon movie was not very good, but she plays Josephine, and she is easily the best thing about that movie. So
Wow.
yeah, and she's acting opposite Joaquin Phoenix. It's like, and she's I think outclassing him in that movie. So
I don't know. She's just so believable. I don't know what the better word is.
yeah. Oh, and did you see
Convincing.
the seventh Mission Impossible movie?
I haven't yet. I need to do that. I'm
There's a
very
point.
behind.
There's a point where her character is in that from the sixth one is in that movie too, but it's like Haley Atwell is wearing a mask to look like her, so it's Vanessa Kirby playing Haley Atwell playing Vanessa Kirby, and it's like a really impressive, just kind of like physical performance that she's doing.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, every time she shows up, she's always like impressed me, and every single potential Sue Storm that has kind of been rumored and thrown around, I've always been like, that's good. Like Jodie Comer, I know was like rumored, and if you're gonna go younger for Sue, I'm like, that's a good younger Sue. But when they said Vanessa Kirby, I was like, please let that be what we go with, and it was, and I feel vindicated because she's great.
She's got kind of a '60s affect to her. You could see her as the lead in a like weekly '60s TV show.
Definitely.
She would have been really good for a starship captain too. Speaking of Star Trek, like I don't know what iteration or whatever, but like give her a ship. Like she would carry a show, man.
Oh yeah, I believe
God.
it. Yeah.
J-Man, 499 Super Chat. Do you think you're more excited for Doomsday if you're seeing it more as a Fantastic Four sequel? I mean, I'm excited to see more of this cast because they're really good. I just don't know if that story is going to hold together. Like I'm nervous about the gigantic cast and the fact that it sounds like they're kind of making it up as they go along. Like there's been a lot of talk that the script's not finished, but they're filming. So that makes me nervous.
Yeah. There was it Jayson earlier who had mentioned that like they're kind of like the Guardians of the Galaxy element in Infinity War. But
Yeah.
like yeah, I think that's kind of where my interest is. I'm like, yeah, I'd like to see the Fantastic Four meet everybody, but then go back to doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm. I guess I'm more interested now that I think there's a chance that this world continues, or that I'm maybe like less irritated going into that when I was worried that I might like this, but it would totally wipe it out, which could still happen, like you said.
Yes.
But anyway, not to go round and round about that again, but we just don't know. But there's hope, and I didn't have that a week ago, so. And I don't mean to make assumptions about things or expect that I'll hate something walking into it or whatever, but I gotta be honest, there was no part of me that thought that I would walk out of that movie without seeing this team go to the main MCU. And I think part of that is because Thunderbolt set it up. And that's the movie before this. So, like, that's fine. They're just setting up what is actually going to happen now in Doomsday. But there's every reason to assume that that was this.
Yeah, and that's like a good bait and switch. Like you got me good, and I'm happy that you tricked me out.
Let me ask you
Glad we didn't
this:
get to see that.
probably not given the mid credits we got, but do you think there's any chance that they cut it? That like it was in this at some point, they cut it?
Oh, so I know the Russo brothers shot the mid-credit scene in Thunderbolts, and they also shot this mid-credit scene.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I knew they did for Thunderbolts. I
Um,
didn't know that for this.
yeah, so I'm gonna say
Probably not.
no, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did have some kind of version of this that went into that.
Nicholas Bodo, do you guys think this aesthetic could work for a darker X-Men movie? We talked about X-Men in this. I honestly do though. I think you could tell darker, scarier stories
Mhm.
like this. I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you can make it work. I don't have a ton of familiarity with like Silver Age X-Men. So, like, I know what those costumes look like, but beyond just the character design, I don't know what the world of Silver Age X-Men is like. So,
One, it would especially
I need
fit
to.
for the space stuff, like when they go out and do Shi'ar stuff and all that. You get a
Okay,
little
yeah,
Landra in there, like you can totally see it.
yeah.
Lalandra! Ah!
I will say, when is X-Men 97 season 2 coming out?
I'm not
Because
sure. Is it next year? Have we even got a date for it?
I don't know.
They
I
seem to
liked
be.
the first season quite a bit.
I know, it's really good. It
That was
made
the
me
biggest
happy.
surprise of all.
I want to watch
Was
it again.
that how it was really good? Yeah.
Well, Connor, thanks a lot for hanging out with me and being the remaining last 25% next to me of our Fantastic Four, which we were just dropping like fly. But at least I didn't lose you at any point.
Oh, my internet was maintained. Um,
That's the
that's a
biggest
miracle in and of
surprise
itself.
of the night. That's true.
Yeah, yeah. I guess getting a new computer was the thing that made all the difference. So,
Well, Connor, there is a part of me that wants to find a way to stretch this another half an hour because we actually would be at 4 hours if we had done that, which is amazing. We got close.
that I would even call it fantastic, but
Say it again.
I'm much. I think. Dun, da, da, da. No, yeah, I'm too tired to go another
Avengers!
half hour. I'm so happy that became a meme because, like, I remember when that movie came out. That was like an inside joke between my brother and I. But what is an inside joke if not a meme dwelling in two souls? Aristotle said that,
I think he
and
did.
yeah, he did. And I was always like, it's such a dorky ending that is so obviously lame that everyone should be making fun of. And yeah, it finally happened, and I'm happy because it's it's hilarious.
Ozzy says you guys are like 10 minutes away from to 4 hours. Do it. No, we're half an hour away. And I need to eat something. It occurred to me about halfway through this I didn't have dinner.
Oh
Like I just
no.
completely forgot to eat. So I'm getting like it's 1 in the morning. I haven't eaten anything. I'm kind of hungry.
Yeah,
I just
I got to get up
go
for
on.
work in like 6 hours, so
Oh,
I'm gonna
thanks
go
for
to bed.
staying, man. I appreciate it.
Of course, man.
It would have been
I got
pretty
plenty of
funny
stuff
if I'd
left.
been stuck doing the last hour of this by myself, but I really appreciate you sticking around. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
I don't want
talked
you to
over you.
stretch. I don't want you to stretch yourself too thin. You know, and I
Especially if I'm the Reed of this universe, I don't go that far.
yeah, and I mean I'm a little burnt out. I'm not gonna lie, but I okay. We got to cut it. I'm making the worst jokes in the world, so
I was waiting to
we
hear
got.
the other two. I was ready to hear that. Hear that keep going.
I know Jason sometimes feels invisible right now when he's sitting next to you. Like I can't even see him right now, but
We gotta turn off the stupid thing. We
good
did it.
one. We did it. We did it.
Okay, John Ty says I'm like Galactus. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know in what way I'm like Galactus, but I am certainly in the Galactus cult. That is true.
Probably because you hunger.
I do hunger
So,
right now. That's true. I'm gonna go look for
uh,
tasty planets to eat. Anyway, Connor, I had a great time with you, man. As always, appreciate you,
Hey,
buddy.
likewise, man.
And
Thank you for inviting me.
I guess I enjoyed my time with my invisible son and Herbie well enough, but you stuck around, so you're just automatically the most valuable person.
Well, take that, Austin. How many streams have you made it to the end to? But I'm the MVP. Yeah.
Suck on that.
Take it, Austin. All right.
All right, appreciate you
No,
guys.
it's always a pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure.
We'll see you later. I was Captain Logan. This is Connor Nielsen, and earlier we had Jayson and Robert also. See you later, folks. Bye, everybody.